She thought running would save her, until the day her past found her in a crowded park, forcing her to gamble everything on a complete stranger. Lena Hayes made a choice that afternoon that would shatter every wall she'd built around her heart. A fake relationship, a single father with secrets of his own, and a lie so convincing neither of them saw the truth coming until it was too late to walk away. This is a story about fear, protection, and the fine line between pretending and falling. Stay with me until the end, and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. The park smelled like roasted chestnuts and damp leaves. November in the city always carried that edge, the kind of cold that worked its way under your collar no matter how tightly you wrapped your scarf. Lena Hayes sat on a green bench near the fountain, hands buried deep in her coat pockets, watching a little girl chase pigeons with the kind of fearless joy that only children possessed. She'd been coming here for 3 weeks now. Same bench, same time. Trying to reclaim something she couldn't name. Normal. Maybe that was it. The coffee shop across the street knew her order by heart now. Black coffee, no sugar, always in a to-go cup even though she never actually left. The barista with the nose ring had stopped asking if she wanted to add a pastry. Lena appreciated that. Small mercies. Her phone buzzed. She didn't look at it. It buzzed again. She pulled it out just enough to see the screen. Unknown number. Her stomach dropped like a stone through ice. Not unknown. Never really unknown. She declined the call and shoved the phone back into her pocket, but her hands were shaking now. The coffee she'd been nursing had gone cold. She set it down on the bench beside her, suddenly nauseous. He wouldn't come here. He doesn't know about this place. Except Marcus had always been good at finding her. Better than good. Obsessive. That's what the restraining order called it. Obsessive behavior. Like that sanitized language could capture what it felt like to be hunted by someone who once claimed to love you. Lena scanned the park, pulse hammering in her throat. Mothers with strollers, a group of teenagers filming something on their phones, an older man feeding ducks by the pond. And there, near the oak tree, half hidden behind a newspaper he wasn't reading, Marcus. Her breath caught. He was staring directly at her. The world narrowed to a pinpoint. Everything else, the laughter, the traffic noise, the wind in the trees, faded to static. All she could see was him. The same leather jacket, the same expression that used to feel like devotion but now felt like a noose tightening. She stood abruptly, nearly knocking over her coffee. Move. Go. Now. But her legs wouldn't cooperate. Fear had a way of making you stupid, freezing you in place when every instinct screamed to run. Marcus folded his newspaper, started walking toward her. Lena's vision blurred at the edges. She took a step back, then another, and her heel caught on the uneven pavement. She stumbled, catching herself against the bench. "Lena!" His voice. Closer than she'd thought. Soft, like he was coaxing a frightened animal. "Lena, wait. I just want to talk." No, not again, not here. Her eyes darted around the park, frantic, searching for what? Help? A witness? Someone who'd believe her if she screamed? And then she saw him. A man sitting 3 benches down, 30s maybe. Dark hair, the kind that looked like he'd run his hands through it too many times. Jeans and a navy jacket, posture relaxed, but his eyes were alert, watching a little girl on the swings with the focused attention of a parent who knew exactly where their kid was at all times. Lena didn't think. Thinking would have stopped her. She closed the distance between them in 4 strides, heart pounding so hard she could taste metal. "I'm so sorry," she blurted, her voice too loud, too desperate. "I know this is insane, but I need you to do something for me." The man looked up, startled. His eyes were gray-blue, sharp, but not cold. "Do I know you?" "No, but my ex, he's here and he won't leave me alone and I—" She glanced over her shoulder. Marcus was maybe 20 feet away now, closing the gap. "I need you to pretend you're my boyfriend, please, just for a minute, please." She watched the calculation happen in real time, the flicker of confusion, then concern, then something harder to name. He followed her gaze to Marcus, took in the scene in half a second, and made his decision. "Okay." That was it. No questions, no hesitation. He stood, and Lena realized he was taller than she'd thought. Probably 6'1", broad-shouldered in a way that suggested he didn't spend much time at a desk. He stepped close, crowding her space but somehow not making it feel invasive, and wrapped an arm around her waist. "Play along," he murmured, just loud enough for her to hear. Lena's breath hitched, but she nodded. Marcus stopped a few feet away, his expression shifting from determined to confused. "Lena," he said again, ignoring the stranger entirely. "We need to talk. You haven't been answering my calls." "She doesn't want to talk to you," the man said evenly. His voice was calm, almost conversational, but there was steel underneath. "So I think you should go." Marcus's jaw tightened. "And you are?" "Her boyfriend." Lena felt the word like a punch to the sternum. She forced herself to lean into it, resting her hand on the man's chest like she had every right to be there. His heart was steady under her palm. Hers was trying to claw its way out of her ribcage. "That's convenient," Marcus said, his tone sharpening. "Funny, because 3 weeks ago she wasn't seeing anyone." 3 weeks ago you weren't supposed to be within 500 feet of her," the man replied, and Lena's stomach flipped. "How did he—" Marcus's face darkened. "You don't know what you're talking about." "I know a restraining order when I hear about one, and I know you're about to violate it if you don't walk away." For a terrible moment, Lena thought Marcus might lunge. She could see the rage coiling in his shoulders, the way his hands clenched into fists. But then a woman pushing a stroller walked past, close enough to hear, and Marcus seemed to remember where he was. "This isn't over," he said quietly, looking only at Lena. Then he turned and walked away. Lena didn't move. Couldn't. She stood there, locked in place against this stranger's side, watching Marcus disappear into the crowd near the park entrance. Only when he was completely out of sight did she realize she was shaking. "Hey!" The man's voice was gentler now. "You okay?" Lena stepped back, breaking contact, suddenly mortified. God, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I just did that." "Don't apologize." He shoved his hands into his pockets, looking almost uncertain now that the crisis had passed. "You needed help. It's fine." "It's not fine. I ambushed you." "Yeah, well," a wry smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "I've had weirder Tuesdays." Despite everything, Lena almost laughed. Almost. "I'm Ethan," he said. "Ethan Cole." Lena Hayes. She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly aware of how cold she was. "And I really am sorry. I didn't know what else to do." "Was that guy actually your ex?" "Yeah." "And the restraining order?" "Also real." Ethan's expression darkened slightly. "He been showing up a lot?" "More than he should." Lena glanced back toward the park entrance, half expecting to see Marcus lurking near the gates. "I thought changing my routine would help." "Guess not." "You called the cops." "They can't do anything unless he actually violates the order. Standing in the same park doesn't count." The bitterness in her voice surprised even her. Ethan looked like he wanted to say something, but before he could, a small voice interrupted. "Daddy!" The little girl from the swings came barreling over, pigtails bouncing. She couldn't have been more than 5, round-cheeked and fearless, the kind of kid who probably gave her father daily heart attacks. "Mia, slow down before you—" She tripped over her own feet and would have face-planted if Ethan hadn't caught her. "Trip," he finished, hauling her upright. "What did I just say about running on wet grass?" "That it's slippery and dangerous, and I should be more careful," Mia recited dutifully. Then she noticed Lena, and her eyes went wide. "Hi, are you my daddy's friend?" Lena's throat tightened. Sort of. I'm Mia. I'm 5 3/4. What's your name?" Lena. "That's pretty." Mia beamed at her, then turned to Ethan. "Can we get ice cream on the way home, please? It's 40 degrees outside." Ice cream doesn't have a temperature rule. Ethan sighed, but Lena could see the affection in it. "We'll see." Mia's grin suggested she knew she'd already won. "We should go," Ethan said to Lena. "But, you gonna be okay getting home?" Lena nodded quickly. Too quickly. "Yeah, I'll be fine." He didn't look convinced. "You got someone you can call? Friend? Family?" "I'm good. Really." Ethan hesitated, then pulled out his phone. "Give me your number." Lena blinked. "What?" "In case that guy comes back, you shouldn't have to deal with him alone." He saw her expression and added, "Not trying to be weird, just, I've got a kid. If someone was following her around, I'd want her to have backup." Lena's defenses, already battered, cracked a little further. She recited her number. Ethan typed it in and sent her a quick text so she'd have his. "There," he said. If you need a fake boyfriend again, I'm apparently available. This time, Lena did laugh. Small and shaky, but real. Thank you, she said. Seriously, you didn't have to do that. Yeah, I did. Ethan scooped Mia up, settling her on his hip. Take care of yourself, Lena. You too. She watched them walk away. Mia chattering about ice cream flavors, Ethan listening with the patience of someone who'd heard this speech 100 times before. They looked solid, rooted, like the kind of people who didn't have to run from their pasts. Lena envied that more than she cared to admit. She didn't hear from Marcus for 3 days. 3 days of waiting for the other shoe to drop. 3 days of jumping every time her phone buzzed, checking over her shoulder on the subway, taking different routes home just in case. The apartment she'd moved into after the breakup was supposed to be a fresh start. Studio, 5th floor, decent neighborhood. But it had never felt like home. Just a place she slept when she could sleep. Most nights she lay awake listening to sirens and distant arguments, the baseball bat she kept by the bed a cold comfort. Her sister Claire had helped her move in, spent the first night with her, promised to check in regularly. But Claire had 2 kids and a husband who traveled for work. Lena couldn't keep leaning on her, couldn't keep being the broken one who needed saving. She'd tried therapy, sat in a beige office with a woman who nodded sympathetically and used words like trauma response and hypervigilance. It helped, sort of, gave her language for what she was feeling, but it didn't make Marcus disappear. On the 4th day, she got a text from an unknown number. I miss you. Then another. We were good together. You know we were. Then a third. Why are you doing this to us? Lena blocked the number. 20 minutes later, a new one appeared. I saw you with him. You think he cares about you? He doesn't even know you. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped her phone. She thought about calling the police. But what would she say? He's texting me? They'd tell her to document it, maybe add it to her file. Maybe. Probably nothing would come of it. The restraining order was a piece of paper. It didn't stop him from thinking about her, from watching her, from finding new ways to reach her. She thought about calling Claire, but it was Tuesday afternoon and Claire would be picking up the kids from school, navigating carpool and homework and dinner prep. Lena had already disrupted her life enough during the breakup, during the court dates, during the night she'd shown up at 3 a.m. because she couldn't be alone. And then, almost without meaning to, she pulled up Ethan's contact. Her thumb hovered over the call button. This is insane. You barely know him. He was just being nice. But Marcus's words echoed in her head. You think he cares about you? Before she could talk herself out of it, she typed a message. Lena. Hey, this is probably weird, but he showed up again. Not in person, just texts. I know you said to reach out if I needed help, but I don't actually expect you to... She deleted the whole thing and started over. Lena. He's texting me from different numbers. I don't know what to do. She stared at the screen, heart pounding, and almost deleted that too. Then she hit send. The response came faster than she expected. Ethan. How many numbers? Lena. 3 so far today. Ethan. Save the screenshots. Every single one. Timestamps. Everything. Lena. I know. I'm documenting it. Ethan. Good. Have you told the cops? Lena. They can't do anything unless he actually threatens me or violates the physical proximity order. Ethan. That's bullshit. Lena. Yeah. There was a pause. Lena watched the 3 dots appear and disappear twice before the next message came through. Ethan. Where are you right now? Lena. Home. Why? Ethan. You feel safe there? Lena looked around her tiny studio apartment, the deadbolt she'd installed herself, the chair she wedged under the doorknob at night, the baseball bat she kept next to her bed even though she'd never swung one in her life. Lena. Safe enough? Ethan. That's not an answer. Lena. I'm fine. Really, I shouldn't have bothered you. Ethan. You're not bothering me. Ethan. Look, I know we just met, but this guy sounds like he's escalating. You shouldn't have to deal with that alone. Lena. I'm used to it. She regretted sending that the second it went through. Ethan. That's even worse. Ethan. Let me help. Lena. You don't owe me anything. Ethan. I know. Something in those 2 words made her chest tighten. Lena. Why are you doing this? Ethan. Because I can. Because you asked. Pick one. Lena stared at the screen, something unfamiliar stirring in her chest. Not hope, exactly. Hope felt too dangerous. But maybe the idea that she didn't have to white-knuckle her way through this alone. Lena. Thank you. Ethan. Don't thank me yet. I haven't actually done anything. Lena. You answered. That's something. She set the phone down and tried to breathe normally, tried to remember what normal felt like. Her apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the muffled sounds of her neighbors above. Someone was playing music, something with a heavy bass line that made the ceiling vibrate faintly. Normally it annoyed her. Tonight it was almost comforting, a reminder that other people existed, that life was happening all around her even when hers felt like it was suspended in amber. She made herself dinner, pasta with jarred sauce because cooking felt like too much effort. She ate standing at the counter, scrolling through her phone without really seeing anything, and tried not to think about Marcus sitting somewhere doing the same thing, obsessing over her, planning his next move. The therapist had told her that obsession like his wasn't really about love. It was about control, about possession. Marcus didn't miss her. He missed the version of her that had existed for him, the one who'd bent herself into shapes to make him happy, who'd ignored the red flags until they were too big to miss. Lena rinsed her plate and was reaching for the dish soap when her phone rang. Unknown number. Her stomach clenched. She let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, the voicemail notification appeared. Against her better judgment, she played it. Marcus's voice, soft and wounded. Lena, please. I know you're angry, but we can work this out. We always do. I love you. You know I love you. Just call me back, please. She deleted it with shaking hands. The phone rang again immediately. Different number. This time she answered. Stop calling me. Lena. I mean it, Marcus. Stop. I just want to talk. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. No. You're being unreasonable. I have a restraining order against you. You're not supposed to contact me at all. That's just a piece of paper. It doesn't change how we feel about each other. There is no we. Not anymore. You don't mean that. I do. Her voice was steadier than she felt. I really do. Is it because of him? That guy from the park? Lena's blood went cold. That's none of your business. You're my business. You'll always be my business. I'm hanging up now. Lena. She ended the call and immediately blocked the number. Then she sat down hard on her couch, adrenaline making her hands shake. The phone buzzed with a text. Ethan. Ethan. You doing okay? She almost lied, almost typed back something breezy and dismissive, but she was so tired of pretending. Lena. He just called, twice. Ethan. What did he say? Lena. The usual. That he loves me, that we can work it out, that I'm being unreasonable. Ethan. Jesus. Lena. I hung up on him, blocked both numbers. Ethan. Good. That took guts. Lena. Didn't feel like it. Ethan. Trust me. It was. Lena stared at the message, something loosening in her chest. Lena. How do you know? Ethan. Because I've seen what it looks like when someone's really scared, and I've seen what it looks like when they fight back anyway. Lena. Who? There was a longer pause this time. Ethan. My sister. Different situation, but same kind of guy who wouldn't take no for an answer. Took her a long time to get out. Lena. Is she okay now? Ethan. Yeah, mostly. Some days are harder than others. Lena. I'm sorry. Ethan. Don't be. Just keep fighting back. It matters. Lena didn't know what to say to that, so she just sent back a simple, okay. Ethan. You eaten dinner? The subject change caught her off guard. Lena. Yeah, you? Ethan. Attempting to convince Mia that chicken nuggets count as a vegetable. Despite everything, Lena smiled. Lena. How's that going? Ethan. About as well as you'd expect. She's offered a compromise, nuggets and broccoli, but only if she can dip the broccoli in ketchup. Lena. That's actually pretty reasonable negotiation skills for a 5-year-old. Ethan. She's terrifying. I'm not ready for her teenage years. Lena. You've got a while. Ethan. Not long enough. They texted back and forth for another 20 minutes. Easy, inconsequential things that had nothing to do with restraining orders or obsessive exes. Ethan told her about Mia's latest obsession with dinosaurs and her conviction that pterodactyls were being unfairly excluded from the dinosaur category. Lena found herself laughing, actually laughing, for the first time in days. When the conversation finally wound down, Ethan sent one last message. Ethan, if he calls again tonight, you call me. I don't care what time it is. Lena, you need to sleep. Ethan, so do you. And you'll sleep better knowing you're not alone in this. Lena looked at those words for a long time. Lena, okay. Ethan, good night, Lena. Lena, good night. She set the phone down and realized she felt lighter somehow. Not safe. She wasn't sure she'd ever feel truly safe again, but less alone. And right now, that was enough. 2 days later, Lena was leaving the grocery store when she saw Marcus's car. Same silver Honda. Same dent in the rear bumper from when he'd backed into a mailbox and blamed her for distracting him. It was parked across the street, engine running. Lena froze on the sidewalk, grocery bags cutting into her palms. He followed me here. The realization hit like cold water. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't him happening to be in the neighborhood. He'd tracked her, watched her, waited. She'd driven here today instead of walking, had chosen a different store than her usual, had paid in cash to avoid a paper trail, and he'd still found her. Her phone was already in her hand. She didn't call the police. She called Ethan. He picked up on the second ring. Lena? He's here. Her voice came out thin, shaky. Outside the grocery store on 5th. His car's just sitting there. He's watching me. Are you still inside? No, I'm on the sidewalk. Get back inside right now. Ethan, Lena, go. She turned and walked back through the automatic doors, legs unsteady. The fluorescent lights felt too bright. Everything felt too bright. I'm inside, she said. Good. Stay there. I'm 15 minutes away. You don't have to. Yeah, I do. Is there security? Lena glanced toward the front of the store. A bored-looking teenager in a vest was restocking candy bars. Not really. Find the manager. Tell them what's going on. They'll stay with you until I get there. Ethan, this is crazy. You have Mia. Mia's at a play date. I was already out. His voice was calm, steady, and Lena clung to it like a lifeline. Just stay inside, okay? Don't go near the doors. Okay? I'm going to stay on the line. You don't have to do that. Lena. There was something in his voice now, firm but not unkind. Let me help. So she did. She found the store manager, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor named Patricia, according to her name tag. Lena explained in halting sentences that her ex was outside and she was afraid to leave. Patricia didn't ask questions. She just nodded, touched Lena's arm gently, and stayed close. Honey, you're shaking, Patricia said softly. Come on back to the break room. You can sit down. I need to be able to see the doors, Lena said. Then we'll stand right here together. Patricia positioned herself between Lena and the front windows. Is someone coming for you? Yeah, a friend. The word felt inadequate, but Lena didn't know what else to call Ethan. On the phone, Ethan kept talking the whole time. Not about Marcus, not about anything heavy, just normal things. How Mia's playdate was going with her friend Sophie, who apparently believed she was a mermaid princess and insisted on only answering to Your Highness. The disaster of a PTA meeting he'd sat through last week where parents had spent 45 minutes debating whether the school play should be The Lion King or Frozen, and had somehow ended up with Shrek as a compromise. The fact that his coffee maker had finally died after 8 years of loyal service, and he was contemplating just buying a kettle and going full French press. Mia says French press coffee tastes like dirt water, Ethan said, and Lena could hear the smile in his voice. I asked her how she knew what dirt water tasted like, and she went very quiet. Did she actually drink dirt water? Lena asked, and was surprised to find herself almost smiling despite everything. I'm choosing not to know the answer to that question. Lena's laugh came out shaky but real. Patricia caught her eye and gave her an encouraging nod. I'm pulling up now, Ethan said finally. I can see his car. Stay put. Through the window, Lena saw a dark blue SUV park near the entrance. Ethan climbed out, scanned the street, and his gaze landed on Marcus's Honda. Even from a distance, Lena could see his expression harden. He walked straight toward the car. "What's he doing?" Patricia asked quietly. "I don't know," Lena whispered. Ethan stopped next to the driver's side window and knocked. Lena couldn't hear what he said, but she saw Marcus's face through the windshield. Surprise flickering into anger, then something that might have been fear. The window rolled down halfway. Ethan leaned in close, said something short and sharp. Marcus's face went red. He gestured angrily, but Ethan didn't flinch, didn't step back, just kept talking, his posture calm but unmistakably threatening. And then Ethan straightened, pulled out his phone, and deliberately took a photo of the license plate. Then another of Marcus through the windshield. Marcus's hands gripped the steering wheel so hard Lena could see it from across the street. Ethan said one more thing. Lena saw his mouth move, saw the cold set of his jaw, and then Marcus threw the car into gear and peeled out, tires squealing on the wet pavement. Lena exhaled for what felt like the first time in 10 minutes. Ethan watched the car disappear around the corner, then turned and walked back to the store entrance. He pushed through the doors and his gaze found Lena immediately. "You okay?" Lena nodded, not trusting her voice. "He's gone," Ethan said. "For now, anyway." He glanced at Patricia. "Thanks for staying with her." "Of course." Patricia gave Lena's shoulder a gentle squeeze. "You be safe, honey. And if he comes back, you call the police right away." "I will, thank you." When Patricia had returned to her duties, leaving them in relative privacy near the produce section, Ethan said quietly, "I got his plate number and photos. You can add those to your file with the police." "What did you say to him?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "That if he came near you again, I'd make sure every cop in the city knew his face. That I had his plate, his make and model, and now photos of him stalking you outside a grocery store." He paused. "And that if the law wouldn't stop him, I'd find other ways to make his life very uncomfortable." Lena's throat closed up. "Ethan, I know, that was probably out of line, but I'm not sorry." "Thank you," Lena managed. "Come on," Ethan said. "I'll give you a ride home. We can come back for your car later." "You really don't have to, Lena." He met her eyes, and for the first time she saw something raw there beneath the calm. "Stop trying to do this alone." So she let him drive her home. They didn't talk much on the way. Lena stared out the window, watching the city blur past, and tried to remember the last time someone had shown up for her like this. No questions, no conditions, no keeping score, just showed up. She couldn't. Her father had left when she was 12. Her mother had done her best, but was always working, always tired, always stretched too thin. Claire had been there, but Claire had her own life, her own struggles. And the men Lena had dated before Marcus, they'd been nice enough, but none of them had ever made her feel like she mattered quite this much. Marcus had made her feel like she mattered. That was the trap. He'd been attentive, devoted, overwhelming in his affection. It had felt like love. It had felt like finally being seen, until it didn't. Until the attention became surveillance, until devotion became possession, until love became a cage she couldn't escape. When Ethan pulled up outside her building, he put the car in park but didn't turn off the engine. "You should probably change your routine again," he said. "Different grocery store, different times. Make it harder for him to track you." "Yeah," Lena's voice was hollow. "I know." She'd been changing her routine for months. Different coffee shops, different routes to work, different everything. But Marcus always found her, like he had some kind of radar, some sixth sense for where she'd be. "And if he shows up again, I'll call you." Ethan looked at her for a long moment. His hands rested on the steering wheel, and Lena noticed for the first time that he wore a watch, but no wedding ring. There was a faint tan line where one used to be. Why? The question slipped out before she could stop it. "Why do you care?" Ethan's expression shifted, something unreadable crossing his face. He was quiet for so long Lena thought he might not answer. "My sister, the one I mentioned, her ex put her in the hospital before she finally got away from him," he said finally. "Fractured ribs, concussion, broken wrist. And I knew. I'd known for months that something was wrong, but I didn't push hard enough, didn't show up when I should have." His knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. "So when I see someone who needs help, I show up. Because I didn't before, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life." Lena felt something crack open in her chest. That wasn't your fault, she said quietly. Maybe not, but I could have done more. He finally looked at her. So that's why I care. Because nobody should have to be that scared, and because you asked for help. That takes more guts than most people have. Lena didn't feel gutsy. She felt like she was barely holding it together with duct tape and denial. Thank you, she said again, because what else was there to say? Anytime. He reached into the center console and pulled out a business card. That's got my office number too in case you can't reach me on my cell. I work from home most days, so I'm usually around. What do you do? Lena realized she'd never asked. Freelance graphic design. Nothing glamorous, but it pays the bills and lets me be there when Mia gets home from school. That's really great, actually, that you can do that. Yeah, her mom... He stopped, seemed to reconsider. It's just me and Mia. Has been for a while, so the flexibility helps. Lena heard the weight in those words, the careful omission. She didn't push. She climbed out of the car, grocery bags in hand. Patricia had insisted on keeping them in the store refrigerator so nothing would spoil, and watched Ethan drive away. And for the first time in months, she didn't feel quite so alone. That night, Lena's phone stayed blessedly quiet. No calls from unknown numbers, no texts, no voicemails. She almost didn't trust it. She made dinner, actual dinner, chicken and vegetables instead of pasta from a jar, and ate at her tiny table instead of standing at the counter. She put on music, something soft and instrumental that didn't require her to think. She took a shower without bringing her phone into the bathroom, without checking it every 30 seconds. It felt like exhaling after holding her breath for days. Around 9, her phone buzzed. She tensed automatically, but it was just Claire. Claire, haven't heard from you in a few days. You okay? Lena stared at the message, trying to decide how much to say. Lena, yeah, I'm okay. Marcus showed up at the park last week, but someone helped me. Claire. Someone? Who? Are you seeing someone? Lena, no. Just a guy who was there with his daughter. He pretended to be my boyfriend to get Marcus to leave. Claire. And then what? Lena. And then Marcus started texting from different numbers and showed up outside the grocery store yesterday. Claire. Lena. Claire. Did you call the police? Lena. I'm documenting everything, but they can't do much unless he actually threatens me or gets too close. Claire. This is bullshit. Lena. I know. Claire. What about this guy? The one from the park? Lena. What about him? Claire. Is he still helping you? Lena hesitated. Lena. Yeah, he drove off Marcus yesterday and gave me his number in case I need backup. Claire. That's actually really nice. Claire. Also slightly concerning. You don't know this guy. Lena. I know, but he seems genuinely trying to help. He's got a daughter. He works from home. He's just normal. Claire. Normal guys don't usually step in like that. Lena. His sister was in a bad relationship. I think it hits close to home for him. There was a pause. Claire. Okay, but please be careful. I don't want you trading one problem for another. Lena. I'm being careful, promise. Claire. I love you. Call me if you need anything. Lena. I love you too. Lena set the phone down and realized her sister was right to be cautious. She barely knew Ethan. A week ago, he'd been a complete stranger. And now she was calling him when she was scared, leaning on him in ways she probably shouldn't. But the alternative was facing Marcus alone. And that felt infinitely more dangerous than trusting someone who'd shown her nothing but kindness. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Ethan. Ethan. Wanted to check in. Everything quiet tonight? Lena. So far. No calls or texts. Ethan. Good. Maybe yesterday scared him off. Lena. Maybe. She didn't really believe it, but she wanted to. Ethan. How are you holding up? Lena. Honestly, I don't know. Some moments I feel okay. Some moments I'm just waiting for the next thing. Ethan. That's normal. Adrenaline crash. Lena. You seem to know a lot about this. Ethan. Unfortunately, yeah, my sister's recovery was rough. Lots of false starts, lots of backsliding. Lena. How is she now? Ethan, better? She moved across the country, changed her name, started over completely. It's been 5 years and she's finally starting to feel safe again. Lena, 5 years. Ethan, I'm not saying it'll take that long for you. Every situation is different. Lena, but it might? Ethan, it might, but you'll get there. Lena pulled her knees up to her chest, wrapping her free arm around them. Lena, how do you know? Ethan, because you're still fighting. That's the hardest part. They texted for another hour. Easier conversation this time, drifting away from Marcus and restraining orders into safer territory. Ethan told her about Mia's school play coming up, where she'd been cast as Tree Number 3 and was taking the role very seriously. Lena found herself smiling, asking questions, genuinely interested in this little girl she'd met for all of 5 minutes. Eventually, Ethan signed off, Mia's bedtime, and Lena was left alone in her apartment again. But the silence didn't feel quite as oppressive as it usually did. She got ready for bed, did her usual routine of checking the locks and wedging the chair under the door, and climbed under the covers with her phone on the nightstand. Just before she turned off the light, she pulled up Ethan's last message. Because you're still fighting. That's the hardest part. She read it 3 times, then set the phone down and closed her eyes. For the first time in weeks, sleep came easy. The peace lasted exactly 6 days. 6 days of near normal. 6 days where Lena started to believe that maybe Ethan confronting Marcus had actually worked. 6 days where she walked to the corner store without her heart racing, checked her phone without dread pooling in her stomach, slept without the baseball bat within arm's reach. On the 7th day, she found the flowers. They were waiting on her doorstep when she got home from work. A massive bouquet of white roses in a crystal vase, the kind that cost more than her weekly grocery budget. No card, no note. Just flowers that looked expensive and deliberate and wrong. Lena's hand shook as she pulled out her phone and took photos from every angle. Then she called Ethan. He left flowers at my door. Ethan's voice went tight. You're sure it was him? White roses. They were my favorite when we were together. I told him once I loved them. Her laugh came out bitter. Now I can't stand the sight of them. Don't touch them. I'm coming over. Ethan, you don't have to. Lena. His tone left no room for argument. I'm already in the car. 20 minutes later, Ethan pulled up outside her building with Mia in the back seat. Lena met them on the steps, still staring at the flowers like they might explode. Hi, Lena, Mia waved enthusiastically. Daddy said we're going on an adventure. An adventure, huh? Lena tried to smile, but it felt brittle. Ethan climbed out and assessed the situation with a single glance. Did you call the police? Not yet. I wanted to document everything first. Good instinct. He pulled out his own phone and started taking photos. The flowers, the doorstep, the building entrance, everything. This counts as contact. It's a violation of the restraining order. They'll say there's no proof it was him. Maybe, but it's still worth reporting. Ethan crouched down, examining the vase without touching it. Expensive arrangement. Had to be ordered from somewhere. There might be a receipt trail. Lena hadn't thought of that. You think they'd tell us where it came from? Depends on the florist. Some will, some won't, but it's worth asking. He stood, dusting off his hands. You have gloves? We should move these away from your door. Why gloves? Fingerprints, just in case. The clinical way he said it made Lena's stomach turn. This was her life now. Fingerprints and evidence collection and treating flowers like crime scene material. She retrieved rubber gloves from under her kitchen sink and together they moved the vase to the building's storage room in the basement. The super, a gruff man named Lou, who'd seen enough weird tenant situations to barely blink, let them leave it there after Lena explained. You need me to call someone? Lou asked, his Brooklyn accent thick. I got a nephew who's a cop. I've got it handled, Lena said. But thank you. Back upstairs, Ethan called the non-emergency police line while Lena sat on her apartment steps, trying to keep it together. Mia had wandered over and plopped down next to her, swinging her legs. Are you okay? Mia asked, with the blunt concern only children could manage. I'm okay, sweetheart. You look sad. Lena's throat tightened. Just a little tired. My daddy says tired is sometimes another word for worried. Mia tilted her head. Are you worried? Yeah, Lena admitted. A little bit. About the flowers. About the person who left them. Mia considered this seriously. Were they mean flowers? Despite everything, Lena almost smiled. Kind of. That's silly. Flowers can't be mean. They're just plants. You're right. It's not the flowers that are the problem. It's the person. Oh. Mia processed this. Is it the man from the park? The one who made you scared? Lena glanced at Ethan, who was still on the phone, then back at Mia. Yeah, that one. My daddy scared him away, though. He did. So he'll do it again if he comes back. Mia said this with such absolute certainty that Lena felt something crack in her chest. Your daddy's pretty great, huh? Mia beamed. The greatest. He makes me pancakes on Saturdays and reads me 3 stories at bedtime even when he's tired. And he does funny voices for all the characters. That does sound pretty great. Ethan finished his call and walked over. Officers on the way. Should be here in about 30 minutes. He saw Mia sitting close to Lena, and his expression softened slightly. Mia, you bothering Lena? Nope. We're talking about you. Oh no. I told her you do funny voices for bedtime stories. Mia. What? You do? Lena found herself genuinely smiling for the first time all day. I'd like to hear that sometime. Absolutely not, Ethan said, but there was warmth in it. My dramatic reading of The Very Hungry Caterpillar is for Mia's ears only. It's really good, Mia stage whispered to Lena. He does the caterpillar like this. She launched into an impression that was probably meant to be her father, but sounded more like a robot having an existential crisis. I do not sound like that. You kind of do, Lena offered. Ethan gave her a look of mock betrayal. You're supposed to be on my side. I just met you. I don't have to be on your side yet. Yet, he repeated. So there's hope. The moment hung between them, light, almost playful, and for a second Lena forgot why they were sitting on her apartment steps in the first place. Then a police cruiser pulled up, and reality crashed back in. The officer who responded was younger than Lena expected, maybe late 20s, with the kind of carefully neutral expression that suggested he'd heard it all before. His name tag read Martinez. Lena walked him through everything. The restraining order, Marcus showing up at the park, the texts from multiple numbers, the incident at the grocery store, and now the flowers. Officer Martinez took notes, his pen scratching across the pad in quick, efficient strokes. And you're certain the flowers are from the subject named in the restraining order? White roses were my favorite when we dated. I never told anyone else that. But there's no card or message confirming it was him. No. Martinez's expression didn't change, but Lena saw the answer in his eyes before he spoke. Without proof of contact, it's hard to say this constitutes a violation. He left them on my doorstep, where I live, that he's not supposed to know about because I moved after we broke up. I understand your frustration, Ms. Hayes, and I'm going to add this to your case file. But unless we can prove he's the one who ordered and delivered the flowers, so what? Lena's voice cracked. I'm supposed to just wait until he does something worse? No, ma'am. You're supposed to keep documenting everything, exactly like you're doing. If he makes contact again, you call us immediately. If you see him near your residence or workplace, you call us immediately. We take restraining orders seriously. Just not seriously enough to do anything about them, Ethan said quietly. Martinez looked at him. You're a friend of Ms. Hayes? Yeah. You been present for any of these incidents? The park, the grocery store, and I was on the phone when she got the harassing texts. Then you should know we're limited by what we can prove in court. I believe Ms. Hayes, but a prosecutor needs evidence. He's stalking her. I know, and we're building a case, but these things take time. Lena felt the fight drain out of her. Time. She'd been hearing that for months. These things take time. The restraining order takes time to process. The investigation takes time to build. Meanwhile, Marcus kept showing up, kept calling, kept finding new ways to make her feel hunted. Martinez finished his report and handed her a card. That's my direct line. You need anything, you call. I mean it. Thank you, Lena said, because what else could she say? After Martinez left, Ethan turned to Lena. You shouldn't stay here tonight. I'm not leaving my apartment. Lena, if I leave, he wins. He'll know he scared me badly enough to run. Who cares if he wins? Ethan's voice was sharp with frustration. Your safety matters more than pride. It's not about pride. It's about not giving him any more power over my life than he already has. They stared at each other, the tension crackling between them. Mia, who'd been sitting quietly on the steps, looked between them with wide eyes. "Are you guys fighting?" she asked in a small voice. Ethan's expression immediately softened. "No, sweetheart, we're just disagreeing." "It sounds like fighting." "Sometimes grown-ups disagree loudly," Lena said gently. "But we're okay." Ethan scrubbed a hand over his face. "Look, at least let me check your locks. Make sure everything's secure." Lena hesitated, then nodded. "Okay." She let him into her apartment, the first time he'd been inside. She saw him take it in with a single sweep. The studio layout, the deadbolt she'd installed herself, the chair by the door, the baseball bat leaning against the wall by her bed. He didn't comment on any of it, just checked the windows, tested the locks, examined the fire escape access. "Your window locks are garbage," he said finally. "Anyone could jimmy these open with a credit card." "I know. The landlord said he'd replace them, but that was 3 months ago. I can install better ones. Won't take long." "Ethan, you've already done so much. Hardware stores open until 9. I can have new locks on these windows before Mia's bedtime." Lena wanted to argue, wanted to insist she could handle it herself, but she was tired of handling everything herself. "Okay," she said quietly. "Thank you." Ethan's expression gentled. "You don't have to thank me every time." "Yeah, I do." He studied her for a moment, something shifting in his eyes. Then he pulled out his phone. "Let me make a call. See if I can get someone to watch Mia for a couple hours." "No, don't. Bring her with you. She can hang out here while you work." "You sure?" "Yeah, it'll be nice to have the company." So that's how Lena ended up with a 5-year-old sitting at her kitchen counter, coloring in a Disney princess coloring book Ethan produced from the apparently bottomless supply of kid entertainment in his car while he went to buy window locks. "Do you like Elsa or Anna better?" Mia asked, not looking up from her careful coloring. "I don't know. I haven't seen Frozen in a while." Mia's head shot up, scandalized. "You haven't seen it in a while? You have to watch it all the time. It's the best movie ever made." "Better than Shrek?" "Way better. Shrek is funny, but Frozen has sisters and magic and a talking snowman." Mia returned to her coloring. "I don't have a sister, just me and Daddy." "Yeah? What about your mom?" The question was out before Lena could stop it. Mia's crayon paused. "She lives far away. I don't see her much." "I'm sorry." Mia shrugged, a gesture too adult for her small frame. "It's okay. Daddy says some people aren't good at being parents, and that's not the kid's fault." Lena felt her throat close. "Your daddy's right. He's right about most things, except vegetables. He thinks I need to eat them every day, but I think that's too much. Vegetables are important, though." "That's what he says. You're supposed to be on my side," Lena laughed. "I barely know you. I don't have to be on your side yet." "Yet?" Mia repeated, grinning. "That's what Daddy said, too." They colored together until Ethan returned, arms full of hardware store bags. He got to work immediately, and Lena watched him install new locks on both windows with the efficiency of someone who'd done this before. "You're good at this," she observed. "Had to learn. My apartment was broken into a few years back, right after Mia was born. Nobody was home, thank God, but it scared the hell out of me. Spent a month upgrading every lock and window in the place." "Did they catch who did it?" "Nope. Just some junkie looking for stuff to sell, probably. But it taught me that those basic apartment locks aren't worth anything." He finished the first window and moved to the second. Mia had abandoned her coloring and was now sprawled on Lena's couch, watching a cartoon on Lena's laptop with rapt attention. "She's good," Lena said quietly, watching the girl. "When she wants to be." Ethan's voice carried affection. "Other times she's a tiny tornado." "How long have you been doing this alone?" 3 years. Mia's mom left when she was 2. Just decided she didn't want to be a parent anymore and took off." He said it matter-of-factly, but Lena heard the old hurt underneath. "I came home from work one day, and she was gone. Left a note saying she couldn't do it anymore." "That's awful." "Yeah, it took me a while to stop blaming myself, wondering what I could have done differently." "It wasn't your fault. I know that now. Doesn't change the fact that Mia's growing up without a mother." "She's growing up with a father who loves her. That counts for a lot." Ethan glanced at her, and something passed between them. Understanding, maybe. Recognition. Your dad around? He asked. Nope. Left when I was 12. Haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry. Don't be. We were better off without him anyway. He drank too much, worked too little, blamed everyone else for his problems. Lena leaned against the wall. My mom worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. My sister Claire basically raised me. That why you're close? Yeah, she's the one who helped me leave Marcus. Let me stay with her for 2 months while I got back on my feet. Went with me to every court date. Lena's voice softened. I don't know what I would have done without her. You would have figured it out. You're stronger than you think. I don't feel strong. Nobody does, but you left. You got a restraining order. You're rebuilding your life. That's strength. Lena wanted to believe him. Some days she almost did. Ethan finished the second window lock and tested it twice. There, that should hold. Thank you. Stop thanking me. Make me. The words came out flirtier than she'd intended. Ethan's eyes met hers, and for a second the air between them shifted, charged with something neither of them seemed ready to name. Then Mia called out, Daddy, I'm hungry. The moment broke. We should go, Ethan said. Let you get some rest. Yeah, okay. But neither of them moved. Lena, Ethan said finally, if you change your mind about staying here tonight, if you get scared or if anything feels off, you call me. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. I know. I mean it. I know, Ethan. He held her gaze a moment longer, then turned to collect Mia and her scattered coloring supplies. At the door, Mia threw her arms around Lena's waist in an impulsive hug. Bye, Lena. I hope the mean flower man leaves you alone. Lena hugged her back, surprised by how much the gesture meant. Thanks, sweetie. Come on, monster, Ethan said, but his voice was gentle. He looked at Lena. Lock the door behind us. I will. And check the windows. Ethan. Sorry, occupational anxiety. Occupational anxiety? Being a single parent. You develop it after about 3 seconds. Lena smiled despite herself. Get out of here. Your daughter needs dinner. After they left, Lena locked the door, both the knob lock and the deadbolt, and wedged the chair under the handle. She checked the new window locks twice. They were solid, professional grade, the kind that would actually stop someone from breaking in. She should have felt safer. Instead, she felt exhausted. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her stomach dropped, but when she opened it, it was just a spam text about extended car warranties. She blocked it anyway, just to be safe. Then another text came through, this time from Ethan. Ethan. Mia wants to know if you like chicken nuggets. Lena. Who doesn't like chicken nuggets? Ethan. Apparently that's the right answer. You've been approved as a friend. Lena. There was an approval process? Ethan. Rigorous. She's very selective. Lena. I'm honored. Ethan. You should be. Last person to make the cut was Sophie, and that took 6 months. Lena smiled at her phone, then caught herself. This was getting complicated. Ethan wasn't just helping her anymore. He was becoming part of her life. And Mia, with her gap-toothed grin and absolute certainty that her father could fix anything, was worming her way into Lena's carefully guarded heart. She should probably be more careful. Put up more walls. Protect herself. But she was so tired of walls. Lena, tell me a thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Ethan. She said, and I quote, anytime. Lena's nice and she doesn't make me eat broccoli. Lena, I see her priorities are in order. Ethan, you're a bad influence. Lena, I haven't even fed her yet. Ethan, that's how I know you'll be trouble. The easy banter felt good, normal, like something that belonged in the life Lena was trying to build, not the one she was running from. Lena, thanks again for tonight. The locks, the police report, all of it. Ethan, stop thanking me. Lena, make me. This time she meant it to sound flirty, meant to test the waters of whatever was building between them. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Ethan, get some rest, Lena. Ethan, I'll check in tomorrow. Not quite a retreat, but not quite an advance either. Lena wasn't sure if she felt relieved or disappointed. She got ready for bed, going through her nightly routine with mechanical precision. Shower, pajamas, check the locks again, baseball bat within reach. But tonight, With the new window locks installed and Ethan's number in her phone, she didn't feel quite so much like prey. She fell asleep thinking about Mia's laugh and the way Ethan's eyes had softened when he looked at his daughter. About the possibility that maybe, just maybe, she was allowed to want more than just survival. The flowers in the basement storage room could wait until morning. The next 2 weeks fell into a rhythm that felt almost sustainable. Marcus stayed quiet. No calls, no texts, no appearances. Lena started to breathe a little easier, though she never fully let her guard down. And Ethan kept showing up, not in a smothering way, just there. A text in the morning to check in, an offer to grab coffee when she mentioned she'd be near his neighborhood, an invitation for her to join him and Mia at the park on Saturday, casual and low pressure. Lena said yes to the park. It felt like crossing a line, but she didn't know how to explain that to Ethan without making it weird. This wasn't a date. It was just 3 people spending time together on a sunny Saturday afternoon, except it felt like more. Mia ran ahead to the swings, leaving Lena and Ethan to follow at a slower pace. "She's got energy for days," Ethan said, watching his daughter pump her legs to go higher. "I don't know where it comes from. I remember being like that. My sister used to say I had a battery pack instead of a soul." "Sounds about right." Ethan glanced at her. "How are you?" "Really?" "Better. The quiet's been nice." "Think he gave up?" "No, but I'll take the reprieve while I can get it." They sat on a bench near the swings, close enough to watch Mia, but far enough to give her space. The park was crowded with weekend families, parents pushing strollers, kids shrieking on the playground, teenagers clustered by the basketball court. Normal life happening all around them. "Can I ask you something?" Lena said. "Shoot. Why are you really doing this? And don't say because you can. That's not a real answer." Ethan was quiet for a long moment, watching Mia on the swings. "You want the truth?" "Yeah. I like you." Lena's heart stuttered. "Ethan, not like that. I mean..." He stopped, seeming to reconsider. "Okay, maybe a little like that, but mostly I just think you deserve better than what you're getting. And I'm in a position to help, so I am." "That's it?" "That's it." He looked at her finally, his expression open. "I'm not trying to be a hero, Lena. I'm just trying to be a friend, if that's okay." "Yeah," Lena said softly. "That's okay." "Good, because Mia's already decided you're part of her life, and it would break her heart if you disappeared." "Just Mia's heart?" The question hung between them. "Just Mia's," Ethan said, but his voice said otherwise. Before Lena could respond, Mia came running over. "Lena, come push me. Daddy doesn't push high enough." "I push exactly high enough," Ethan protested. "Nope. Too low. Lena will do better." Lena laughed and let Mia drag her to the swings. She pushed the little girl, listening to her delighted shrieks, and felt something loosen in her chest that had been tight for so long she'd forgotten what relaxed felt like. Maybe this was allowed. Maybe she was allowed to have this. A friend who showed up, a kid who liked her, an afternoon in the park without fear chasing her. Maybe she was allowed to want more than just survival. She was still thinking about that when her phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it at first. Mia was mid-story about a dragon who only ate purple food, but then it buzzed again. And again. "Hold on, sweetie," Lena said, slowing the swing. She checked her phone and her blood went cold. Unknown number. 3 texts. "I see you found someone new. Does he know what you're really like? Does he know you're mine?" A 4th text came through as she stared at the screen. A photo. Of her. Right now. In the park. Pushing Mia on the swing. Lena's hand started shaking so hard she almost dropped the phone. "Lena?" Ethan was beside her instantly. "What's wrong?" She couldn't speak. Could only hand him the phone. His face went dark as he read the messages. Then he looked up, scanning the park with sharp, calculating eyes. "Take Mia," he said quietly. "Get to my car. Now." "Ethan?" "Now, Lena." She didn't argue. She grabbed Mia's hand, the girl's smile fading as she picked up on the adult's tension, and walked as calmly as she could toward the parking lot. Behind her, Lena heard Ethan on his phone with the police. And somewhere in the crowd of weekend families, Marcus was watching. Lena's legs felt like they might give out before she reached the car. Mia's hand was small and warm in hers, the girl mercifully quiet as they crossed the parking lot. Behind them, Ethan's voice carried sharp and clear as he gave the dispatcher their location. Gray sedan 2 rows back from the entrance. We're getting in now. Lena fumbled with his door handle, her fingers clumsy with adrenaline. The SUV chirped as Ethan unlocked it remotely, still 20 feet away. She got Mia into her booster seat, hands shaking so badly she struggled with the buckle. Lena, you're hurting my arm, Mia said quietly. Sorry, baby, sorry. Lena forced herself to loosen her grip, to breathe. Just need to get you safe. Is the mean man here? I don't know. Ethan reached the car and immediately started scanning the parking lot, his phone still pressed to his ear. Yeah, she's got the photos, taken within the last 5 minutes. He paused. I don't care what your protocol is. He's here right now watching us. Send someone. He ended the call and turned to Lena. Get in. She climbed into the passenger seat. Ethan started the engine and pulled out of the parking space, driving with controlled precision toward the park entrance. His eyes never stopped moving, checking mirrors, scanning faces, looking for Marcus in the Saturday afternoon crowd. Do you see him? Lena's voice came out thin. No, but he's here somewhere. They drove in silence for several blocks. Mia had gone quiet in the back seat, picking up on the tension radiating from both adults. Finally, Ethan pulled into a coffee shop parking lot and cut the engine. What are we doing? Lena asked, making sure we're not being followed. He watched the street behind them for a full minute. No gray sedan, no familiar face. Okay, I think we're clear. You think? Lena. He turned to face her fully. I need you to be honest with me. How dangerous is this guy? I don't know. He's never been violent with me, just controlling, possessive, but the way he's escalating, her voice cracked. I don't know what he's capable of anymore. Ethan's jaw tightened. Did the officer you talked to before, Martinez, did he take this seriously? As seriously as he could, but there's a difference between taking it seriously and being able to do something about it. Yeah. Ethan pulled out his phone and pulled up the photos Marcus had sent. His expression darkened as he studied them. These were taken with a telephoto lens. He wasn't close enough for you to spot him in the crowd. How do you know that? The angle, the compression. He was probably 50, 60 feet away, maybe more. Ethan's voice had gone flat, analytical. He's getting better at this, more careful. The observation made Lena's stomach turn. You sound like you know what you're talking about. I took a few photography classes in college, enough to recognize lens work. He handed her phone back. You need to forward these to Martinez, and we need to figure out how he knew you'd be at the park. Lena's mind raced. I didn't tell anyone except Claire. Did you post anything on social media? I don't use social media anymore. Deleted everything months ago. What about me? Did I mention it anywhere? Ethan scrolled through his own phone, checking. No, nothing. Then how? Lena stopped. A terrible thought was forming. My phone, like... What about it? What if you put something on it, like tracking software or, I don't know, is that even possible? Ethan's expression shifted. Yeah, it's possible. There are apps that can track location, read text, even turn on your camera remotely. If he had access to your phone at any point, we lived together for 2 years. He had access to everything. When did you get this phone? 4 months ago, after I left him. Did you restore it from a backup? Lena's heart sank. Yeah, I transferred everything from my old phone. Then that's probably it. If he installed something on your old phone, it came over with the restore. Ethan was already typing. There's a place near my apartment that does phone diagnostics. They can check for spyware, clean it out if they find anything. How much does that cost? Don't worry about it. Ethan, Lena, please, let me help. She wanted to argue, wanted to insist she could handle her own problems, pay her own bills. But the truth was she was drowning and he was throwing her a rope. Pride seemed like a stupid reason to refuse it. Okay, she said quietly. Thank you. From the back seat, Mia's small voice piped up. Are we still getting ice cream? Both adults turned to look at her. The little girl sat in her booster seat, hands folded primly in her lap, watching them with wide eyes. You said we could get ice cream after the park, Mia continued, and we went to the park. So now ice cream? The absolute logic of a 5-year-old. Despite everything, Lena felt a laugh bubble up. She's got a point, Lena said. Ethan looked torn between exasperation and affection. Mia, now's not really the best time. But you promised, and you said promises are important. I did say that. So ice cream? Ethan glanced at Lena, who shrugged. I could actually use some ice cream. You're both ganging up on me. Is that a yes? Mia asked hopefully. That's a yes. But we're getting it to go and eating it at home. Deal. 20 minutes later, they were sitting in Ethan's living room, eating ice cream straight from the container. Mia had claimed the entire pint of mint chocolate chip and was working her way through it with single-minded determination. Lena had her phone in one hand and a spoon in the other, forwarding the photos to Officer Martinez along with a detailed message about what had happened. Ethan's apartment surprised her. She'd expected something sparse and utilitarian, the domain of a single dad too busy to care about decor. Instead, it was warm and lived in, full of small touches that spoke to actual thought. Framed photos on the walls, most of them featuring Mia at various ages. A bookshelf packed with everything from graphic design manuals to children's books to what looked like an entire collection of graphic novels. A couch that had clearly been selected for comfort over style, with blankets draped over the back and a suspicious number of throw pillows. Your place is nice, Lena said. It's a mess. It's not. She searched for the right word. It's lived in. It feels like a home. Ethan looked around like he was seeing it for the first time. Yeah, I guess it does. Mia's contribution, mostly. Left to my own devices, I'd probably have a mattress on the floor and nothing else. I don't believe that. You should. I'm fundamentally lazy about this stuff. Says the man who installed window locks at 9 o'clock on a weeknight. That's different. That's practical. This is... He gestured vaguely at the throw pillows. I don't know what this is. It's making a space feel safe. That's practical too. Something shifted in Ethan's expression. Before he could respond, Lena's phone rang. She nearly dropped it, ice cream and all. Martinez. She answered on speaker so Ethan could hear. Ms. Hayes, I got your photos and your message. I'm at the park now with my partner. We're canvassing the area, checking security cameras, seeing if anyone saw your ex. Thank you. I also want you to know I've escalated this to my sergeant. The pattern of contact, the escalation, the stalking behavior. We're taking this seriously. I've requested approval to bring him in for questioning. Lena's breath caught. You can do that? With the evidence you've provided, yes. It might not lead to charges yet, but at minimum we can put the fear into him. Make it clear we're watching. When? I'll let you know as soon as I have authorization. Could be later today, could be Monday. Depends on my sergeant and the DA's office. Martinez paused. In the meantime, I strongly suggest you vary your routine. Don't go to the same places at the same times, and consider staying with a friend for a few days. Lena glanced at Ethan, who was watching her intently. I'll think about it, she said. Don't think too long. This guy is escalating, and that makes him dangerous. Martinez's voice softened slightly. I know the system hasn't worked great for you so far, Ms. Hayes, but I promise we're going to do everything we can. I know. Thank you, Officer Martinez. After she hung up, Lena set her phone down and stared at her melting ice cream. You're not going back to your apartment tonight, Ethan said. It wasn't a question. Ethan, Lena, please. He knows where you live. He's tracking your phone. You're not safe there. Where am I supposed to go? Claire's place is an hour away and she's got the kids. You stay here. Lena's head snapped up. What? Guest room's small, but it's got a door that locks. You'll be safe. I can't just move in with you. It's not moving in. It's staying somewhere secure until the police deal with Marcus. Ethan's voice was calm, reasonable. You said it yourself. You don't want to disrupt Claire's life, so stay here. Just for a few days. We barely know each other. We know each other well enough. He held her gaze. And I'm not letting you go back to that apartment alone when there's a man stalking you who apparently has eyes on you 24/7. Lena wanted to argue. Wanted to insist she'd be fine, that she didn't need saving, that she could handle this herself. But she was so tired of handling things herself. And the thought of going back to her studio apartment with its new window locks and wedge chair and baseball bat made her want to cry. Just a few days, she said finally. Just a few days. And I'm paying for groceries. Deal. From her spot on the floor, Mia looked up from her ice cream. Does this mean Lena's having a sleepover? Kind of, Ethan said. Can we paint nails? Sophie's sister always paints nails at sleepovers. Maybe tomorrow, sweetie. And make pancakes for breakfast? Mia. And watch movies and stay up late? It's not that kind of sleepover, Lena said gently. I'm just staying here for a little bit because… She paused, unsure how to explain to a 5-year-old why a grown woman needed to hide. Because the mean man is being mean again, Mia finished matter-of-factly. And Daddy's going to keep you safe like he did before. Yeah, Lena said, her throat tight. Exactly like that. Mia nodded, satisfied, and returned to her ice cream. The phone diagnostics place was closed on Sundays, so Ethan took Lena there first thing Monday morning. The tech who examined her phone was maybe 22, with purple hair and more piercings than Lena could count. Her name tag read Sloan. How long have you had this phone? Sloan asked, fingers already flying over the screen. 4 months. And you think someone installed spyware before that? Maybe. Is that possible? Oh yeah, super possible. People are trash. Sloan connected the phone to her computer and pulled up what looked like a diagnostic program. This'll take about 20 minutes. You want coffee? There's a place next door that doesn't completely suck. Ethan had stayed home with Mia. Monday was a teacher work day, no school, so Lena went to get coffee alone. It felt strange being out by herself without constantly checking over her shoulder. Or maybe not strange. Maybe that was the problem. She'd gotten so used to fear that its absence felt wrong. She got 2 coffees, one for herself, one for Sloan, and was heading back to the shop when someone called her name. Lena? She turned. A woman she vaguely recognized was walking toward her, smiling. It took Lena a moment to place her. Angela, a friend of Marcus's sister. They'd met at a family barbecue once, maybe twice. Angela, hi. I thought that was you. How are you? We haven't seen you in forever. Angela's smile was friendly, guileless. Marcus said you guys split up, but that you were doing okay. Lena's stomach clenched. Marcus said that? Yeah, I ran into him last week. He seemed pretty torn up about it, honestly, but he said you were figuring things out. Angela tilted her head. Are you figuring things out? Every instinct screamed at Lena to end this conversation, to walk away, to not engage. But Angela didn't know. She thought this was a normal breakup, a normal conversation. I'm doing fine, Lena said carefully, but Marcus and I aren't in contact anymore. Oh. He made it sound like you guys were still talking. We're not. Something in Lena's tone must have registered because Angela's expression shifted. Is everything okay? It's complicated. Breakups usually are. Angela touched her arm sympathetically. But for what it's worth, I always liked you. I thought you were good for him. Lena almost laughed. Almost said that she'd tried to be good for Marcus, had bent herself into impossible shapes trying to make him happy, and it had nearly destroyed her. But Angela didn't need to hear that. Thanks, Lena said instead. I should get going. Of course. Take care of yourself, okay? You too. Lena walked back to the phone shop, Angela's words echoing in her head. Marcus had told people they were still talking, still working things out, like the restraining order didn't exist, like he couldn't accept that it was really over. Sloan looked up when Lena entered. Okay, so good news and bad news. Bad news first. Your phone had 3 different tracking apps installed. One for location, one that logged your texts and calls, and one that could remotely access your camera and microphone. Lena felt sick. For how long? Based on the install dates, at least 6 months, maybe longer. Can you tell what he saw? No. But he could have seen everything, every text, every call, every place you went. If he wanted to, he could have been watching you through your camera and you'd never know. The violation of it hit Lena like a physical blow. All those months, thinking she had privacy, thinking she was safe in her own apartment, and Marcus had been there the whole time, invisible, watching. You said there was good news? Yeah, I removed all of them. Your phone's clean now. I also installed some security software that'll alert you if anyone tries to install anything else remotely. Sloan handed the phone back. You should also change all your passwords, email, social media if you use it, banking, everything. I deleted all my social media. Smart. Still change the passwords for the accounts, even if they're deactivated, and enable 2-factor authentication on everything. Lena paid. Sloan refused to charge full price, saying something about the patriarchy can eat it, and walked out into the morning sunlight feeling scraped raw. Marcus had been in her phone, in her life, watching her every move for months. She called Ethan. "How'd it go?" he asked. "3 apps. Location tracking, text logging, camera access. For at least 6 months." Ethan swore. "Jesus, Lena." "Yeah." Her voice sounded hollow, even to her own ears. "She cleaned it all out." "But he saw everything, Ethan. Every text, every call. He probably watched me through my camera." "I'm going to kill him. Please don't. I can't visit you in prison." "I'd make it look like an accident." Despite everything, Lena almost smiled. "Thank you for the thought." "You coming back?" "Yeah, I need to swing by my apartment and grab some clothes first." "I'll come with you." "You don't have to." "Lena," she sighed. "Fine. Pick me up at the phone shop." Ethan and Mia arrived 20 minutes later. The little girl had insisted on coming along, apparently under the impression that this was some kind of adventure. She chattered the whole drive to Lena's apartment, recounting in elaborate detail the plot of the movie she'd watched that morning. And then the princess said she didn't need a prince to save her because she could save herself. And I think that's very smart, because why would you wait for someone else when you can just do it? "Very smart," Lena agreed. "That's what Daddy says too. He says I should learn to do things myself so I'm not waiting around for boys." "Your daddy's right." "He usually is, except about vegetables." Ethan caught Lena's eye in the rearview mirror and shook his head, fighting a smile. At Lena's apartment building, Ethan insisted on going up first to check that everything was secure. He left Lena and Mia in the lobby with Lou the super, who'd been briefed on the situation and promised to keep an eye out. "Your boyfriend's a good guy," Lou said, nodding toward the stairs where Ethan had disappeared. "He's not my boyfriend." "Could have fooled me. We're just friends." Lou gave her a look that suggested he'd been alive too long to buy that line. "Sure, sweetheart, just friends." 5 minutes later, Ethan returned and gave the all clear. Lena went up with Mia while Ethan stayed in the lobby to talk to Lou about maybe installing a security camera in the hallway. Lena's apartment looked exactly as she'd left it. Bed unmade. Coffee mug in the sink. The chair still wedged under the door handle, which she'd had to move to get in. Nothing was out of place, but somehow it all felt contaminated now. This space she'd tried to make safe had never been safe at all. "Your apartment is small," Mia observed, looking around. "Yeah, it is. Smaller than ours. Most places are. But it's cozy, like a nest." Mia flopped onto the bed. "Can I help you pack?" "Sure, sweetie." They packed together, Mia carefully folding clothes that Lena would have to refold later, but not having the heart to say so. The little girl kept up a steady stream of conversation, asking questions about everything from why Lena had so many black shirts to whether she preferred cats or dogs to what her favorite dinosaur was. "I don't know if I have a favorite dinosaur," Lena admitted. "Everyone has a favorite dinosaur. Mine's the Ankylosaurus because it has a club tail and armor and nobody messes with it." "That's a good choice." "What about you?" Lena considered. "Maybe the pterodactyl." "That's not technically a dinosaur." "It's not?" "Nope. It's a flying reptile. Different family." Mia said this with the absolute authority of someone who'd watched a lot of nature documentaries. "But it's still cool." "Then that's my favorite flying reptile." "Better." By the time Ethan came back upstairs, Lena had packed enough clothes for a week, plus toiletries, her laptop, and the few personal items that actually mattered to her. It fit in 2 bags, which said something depressing about her life. "Lou's going to talk to the landlord about the security camera," Ethan reported, "and he's got my number if anything seems off." "Thank you." "Stop thanking me." "Make me." The words had become a running joke between them, a bit of lightness in an otherwise dark situation. Ethan's eyes met hers, something warm flickering there, and Lena felt her breath catch. "Can we go now?" Mia asked, oblivious to the moment. "I'm hungry, and Daddy said we could get lunch on the way home." I said maybe. That's basically yes. That's absolutely not yes. "But I'm helping. I helped Lena pack." Ethan looked at Lena, who shrugged. "She did help." "You're both impossible." "So, lunch?" Mia asked hopefully. "So lunch," Ethan confirmed, and Mia pumped her fist in victory. They stopped at a diner halfway between Lena's apartment and Ethan's, the kind of place with red vinyl booths and laminated menus, and a waitress who called everyone Hononso. Mia ordered pancakes even though it was lunchtime, and Lena didn't have the heart to suggest otherwise. "She's going to crash so hard this afternoon," Ethan muttered as Mia drowned her pancakes in syrup. Worth it, though, Lena said, watching the little girl's obvious joy. Yeah, it is. They ate mostly in comfortable silence, Mia providing enough chatter for all three of them. She was in the middle of explaining why unicorns were scientifically possible when Lena's phone buzzed. Martinez. She answered immediately, stepping outside the diner for better reception. Ethan watched through the window, his expression tense. Ms. Hayes, we brought Marcus Hoffman in for questioning this morning. Lena's knees went weak. And? He denied everything. Said he hasn't contacted you in months, that you're making things up because you can't handle the breakup. That's not... I know. We showed him the photos he sent, the text logs from the burner phones. He claimed his phone must have been hacked, that someone's setting him up. You can't possibly believe that. I don't. But without concrete proof that he's the one sending the messages and taking the photos, it's hard to make charges stick. Martinez paused. However, we did make something very clear to him. We have a file on him now. We're watching. And if he comes near you again, we will arrest him for violating the restraining order. No questions asked. Did he seem scared? Yeah, he seemed scared. Whether that'll stop him is another question. Lena closed her eyes. So what now? Now you keep documenting everything. Keep your phone clean. Vary your routine. And if you see him, anywhere, anytime, you call me immediately. Okay. Ms. Hayes, Lena, I know this isn't the outcome you wanted, but we're building a case. This stuff takes time. There was that word again. Time. I know, Lena said. Thank you for trying. She hung up and stood on the sidewalk for a moment, watching traffic pass, trying to steady herself. The police had questioned Marcus. Put the fear into him. That should feel like a victory. It didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a stay of execution. She went back inside. Ethan took one look at her face and knew. They talked to him, he said. He denied everything, said I'm making it up. Ethan's jaw clenched, but he didn't say anything, just reached across the table and took her hand, squeezing once. Mia, still working on her pancakes, looked between them. Is the mean man going to leave Lena alone now? I hope so, sweetheart, Ethan said. If he doesn't, you'll protect her again. Right, Daddy? Right. Mia nodded, satisfied, and returned to her breakfast. Lena held on to Ethan's hand like a lifeline and tried to believe that maybe, just maybe, this would be enough. That Marcus would back off. That she could finally stop running. But deep down, she knew better. This wasn't over. Not even close. The silence lasted 4 days this time. 4 days where Lena stayed at Ethan's apartment, sleeping in the guest room that smelled faintly of lavender detergent, eating meals at his kitchen table, slowly learning the rhythms of his and Mia's life. 4 days where she started to feel almost normal again, even as part of her stayed coiled tight, waiting for Marcus to prove that the police visit had meant nothing. On the 5th day, everything shattered. Lena was making coffee in Ethan's kitchen. He'd left early to drop Mia at school when her phone rang. Claire. Hey, Lena answered, wedging the phone between her shoulder and ear as she poured water into the coffee maker. What's up? Are you okay? Claire's voice was tight with something that sounded like panic. Lena's hand stilled. Yeah, I'm fine. Why? Marcus just called me. The coffee pot slipped from Lena's grip, shattering against the tile floor. Water and glass went everywhere. He what? He called me. On my cell. I don't know how he got my number. I changed it after you left him. But he called and said... Claire's voice broke. Lena, he knows where I live. He described my house. He knew about the kids' school. Ice flooded Lena's veins. What did he say? That he's worried about you. That you've been telling people lies about him, and he just wants to make sure you're okay. That maybe I should encourage you to get help. Claire was crying now. He sounded so reasonable, Lena. So calm. Like he actually cared. But the whole time he was talking, I kept thinking, he knows where my kids go to school. Lena's legs gave out. She slid down the cabinet until she was sitting on the floor, surrounded by broken glass and spilled water, phone pressed so hard to her ear, it hurt. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Claire, I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. This isn't your fault. Claire's voice hardened. But you need to tell the police right now. He's threatening my family. He didn't threaten you. Not technically. Lena, I know how this works. If he didn't make an explicit threat, the police can't do anything. Bitterness leaked into her voice. He's too smart for that. He knows exactly how far he can push without crossing the line. Then we make him cross the line. What? I'm recording everything, every call, every text, every time I see him near my house or the kid's school. And if he shows up, I'm calling the cops and pressing charges myself. Claire's voice was steel. He wants to come after my family? He just made the biggest mistake of his life. Lena wanted to tell her sister to stay out of it, that Marcus was dangerous, that she should just ignore him. But she knew Claire well enough to know that ship had sailed the moment Marcus mentioned her children. Be careful, Lena said instead. Please. You too. And call Martinez. Tell him what happened. After they hung up, Lena sat on the floor amid broken glass and tried to breathe. Marcus was escalating, moving from stalking her to threatening her family. This wasn't about winning her back anymore, if it ever had been. This was about control, about making sure she knew he could reach anyone she cared about, anywhere, anytime. She was still sitting there when Ethan came home. Jesus, Lena. He was across the room in 3 strides, pulling her to her feet, checking her for injuries. What happened? Are you hurt? I dropped the coffee pot. You're bleeding. She looked down. There was a cut on her palm, shallow but bleeding steadily. She hadn't even felt it. Ethan guided her to the couch and disappeared into the bathroom, returning with a first aid kit. He cleaned the cut with gentle efficiency, his hands steady even as his jaw stayed tight. What happened? He asked again, quieter this time. Marcus called my sister, told her he knows where she lives, where her kids go to school. Lena's voice was flat, disconnected. He's going after my family now. Ethan's hand stilled on the bandage. When? This morning, maybe an hour ago. Did she report it? She's going to, but he didn't technically threaten her, just implied, hinted. Did everything except say the actual words. Smart bastard. Yeah. Ethan finished bandaging her hand and sat back, studying her face. What are you thinking? That I need to end this. Lena. He's not going to stop, Ethan. The police questioning him didn't work. The restraining order is meaningless. He's just getting bolder. She met his eyes. I have to confront him. Absolutely not. It's the only way. No. Ethan's voice was hard. You confronting him alone is exactly what he wants. It gives him access to you without witnesses, without protection. Then I'll do it somewhere public, with witnesses. And then what? You tell him to leave you alone and he magically listens? That's not how this works. So what do you suggest? Lena's frustration boiled over. I just keep hiding, keep running, wait for him to hurt someone I love before the police finally do something? I suggest you let the system work. The system isn't working. It's never worked. She stood, pacing. He's been violating the restraining order for weeks. He put spyware on my phone. He stalked me to the park. And nothing happens because he's careful enough not to leave proof. Meanwhile, he's escalating and I'm just supposed to wait around for him to what? Show up at Claire's house? Follow Mia home from school? The words hung in the air, sharp and terrible. Ethan's face went pale. He wouldn't. You don't know that. You don't know what he's capable of when he doesn't get what he wants. Neither do you. Exactly. Which is why I need to face him. Tell him it's over. Make him understand. He already understands, Lena. He doesn't care. Ethan stood too, closing the distance between them. You think you're the first person to try reasoning with someone like this? My sister tried that, sat down with her ex, explained calmly that the relationship was over, that he needed to move on. You know what he did? Put her in the hospital. Lena flinched. I'm not trying to scare you, Ethan continued, his voice softer now. I'm trying to make you understand that confronting him won't fix this. It'll just give him what he wants, access to you. Then what do I do? You stay here. You stay safe. You let Martinez build his case. And you trust that eventually Marcus will make a mistake big enough that the police can act. And if he doesn't? If he just keeps circling, getting closer, hurting the people I care about? Lena's voice cracked. How long am I supposed to live like this? Ethan didn't have an answer for that. The sound of Lena's phone ringing cut through the tension. She grabbed it off the couch. Martinez. Ms. Hayes, your sister just filed a report. I'm on my way to take her statement now. What can you do? Honestly? Not much. He didn't make an explicit threat, but it's more evidence of a pattern. Combined with everything else, we might be able to get a judge to extend the restraining order to include your family members. Might. It's the best I can offer right now. Lena closed her eyes. What if I confronted him? Don't. Martinez's response was immediate and sharp. Do not engage with him in any way. No calls, no texts, no meetings. Nothing. But if I did, if I recorded it, got him to admit to the stalking, it wouldn't be admissible in court and it would put you in danger. Please, Ms. Hayes, don't do this. Then help me. Actually help me. Not just document and wait. I'm trying, I promise you, I'm trying. Martinez sighed. I've got 20 open cases right now, and yours is the only one I'm personally following up on. That should tell you something. It tells me the system is broken. Yeah, it is. But it's what we've got. He paused. Stay away from him, please. I'll call you after I talk to your sister. After Martinez hung up, Lena stood in Ethan's living room feeling like a caged animal. Every instinct screamed at her to do something. Confront Marcus, run away, fight back somehow. But all the reasonable voices, Ethan, Martinez, her own common sense, told her to wait. She was so tired of waiting. I need to go for a walk, she said abruptly. I'll come with you. I need to be alone. Lena, please, Ethan, I need to think. He looked like he wanted to argue, but something in her expression stopped him. Stay in public areas, keep your phone on, and if you see anything, you call me. I will. She grabbed her jacket and left before he could change his mind. The November air was crisp and clean, carrying the smell of wood smoke from somewhere nearby. Lena walked without direction, letting her feet carry her through residential streets lined with bare trees and houses decorated for the upcoming holidays. Normal people living normal lives, worried about normal things, like what to make for dinner and whether the kids had finished their homework. She envied them so much it hurt. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Lena's blood went cold. She stopped walking, staring at the screen. Another text came through. I know you're scared, but I can explain everything. Just give me 5 minutes. Please, Lena, I miss you. Her hands shook as she blocked the number. Then another text appeared from a different one. You can't block me forever. I'll always find you. Lena's vision blurred. She was standing on a sidewalk in a quiet neighborhood in broad daylight, and Marcus was in her phone again, still watching, still reaching for her. She called Ethan. He's texting me again, different numbers. Where are you? I don't know, maybe 10 blocks from your place? Near a coffee shop called The Grind. I know where that is. Stay there. I'm coming to get you. Ethan, you don't have to... Stay. There. He hung up. Lena went into the coffee shop and ordered something she didn't want, just to have a reason to be there. The barista was young, maybe 19, with bright blue hair and a name tag that said River. You okay? River asked, handing over a latte Lena hadn't really ordered but was too shaken to correct. Yeah, just bad day. Those are the worst. On the house, by the way. You look like you need it. Lena almost cried at the simple kindness. Thank you. She found a table by the window and pulled out her phone to screenshot the texts from Marcus. Her hands were still shaking, the words blurred together. I know you're scared, like he wasn't the reason she was scared in the first place. I can explain everything. What was there to explain? The stalking? The threats? The violation of her privacy? I miss you. The cruelest part was that some broken piece of her wanted to believe it. Wanted to believe that somewhere under the obsession and control there had been something real, something worth missing. But that was the trap. That's how men like Marcus worked. They convinced you that the good times were real and the bad times were your fault. That if you just tried harder, loved better, stayed longer, things would get better. They never did. Ethan's SUV pulled up outside 15 minutes later. Lena grabbed her untouched latte and headed for the door, but River called after her. Hey, your boyfriend's hot. Despite everything, Lena almost smiled. He's not my boyfriend. Girl, the way he just drove over here because you needed him, he's something. River leaned on the counter, grinning. And for the record, he's looking at you through that window like you're the only person in the world. Lena glanced outside. Ethan was indeed watching her through the glass, his expression tight with worry. When their eyes met, something in his face softened. We're just friends, Lena said, but it sounded weak even to her. Sure you are. Have a better day, okay? In the car, Ethan didn't ask questions, just drove them back to his apartment in silence, his hand finding hers across the center console and holding on tight. I'm sorry, Lena said finally, for snapping at you earlier, for walking off alone when you told me not to. Don't apologize for being human. I'm making your life complicated. My life was already complicated. I have a 5-year-old who thinks dinosaurs are a food group. He glanced at her. You're not a burden, Lena. He stopped, seemed to reconsider. You're important to me, and I'm not going anywhere. Why? The question came out small, almost childlike. Why do you keep helping me? Ethan pulled into his parking spot and cut the engine. For a long moment, he just sat there, staring at his hands on the steering wheel. Because the first time I saw you, you were terrified but still standing your ground, he said finally. Because you asked a complete stranger for help and trusted me not to make it worse. Because you're kind to my daughter even when you're falling apart. Because you're stronger than you know, and you deserve better than what you're getting. He turned to face her, and Lena saw something raw and honest in his eyes. And because somewhere along the way, I stopped pretending this was just about helping someone in trouble, Ethan continued, his voice quiet. I care about you, Lena, more than I probably should given the circumstances, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Lena's breath caught. Ethan, you don't have to say anything. I just need you to know you're not alone in this. Not anymore. They sat in the car, the silence stretching between them, heavy with things neither of them seemed ready to name. Finally, Lena reached over and took his hand. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For showing up, for staying, for making me feel like I'm worth fighting for. Ethan's fingers tightened around hers. You are. You really are. The moment was broken by Lena's phone ringing. Martinez again. She answered on speaker. Please tell me you have good news. I talked to your sister. She's filing for her own restraining order against Hoffman, listing her children as protected parties. It's a long shot, but if we can get 2 separate orders, it might actually mean something, Lena finished. Maybe. Also, the DA's office is reviewing the evidence we've collected. All the texts, the photos, the spyware on your phone. They're considering whether it's enough for stalking charges. When will they decide? Could be days, could be weeks. I'm pushing for days. Martinez paused. I also wanted to give you a heads up. Hoffman hired a lawyer, guy named Richard Brennan. He's good, expensive, and he's already filing motions claiming you're harassing his client. Lena laughed, the sound harsh and brittle. Of course he is. I know it sounds bad, but it's actually a good sign. It means Hoffman's scared. He's on the defensive. Doesn't feel like he's on the defensive. He's still texting me, I need you to forward me those texts. Every single one. Timestamps, phone numbers, everything. I will. And Lena? The fact that he hired a lawyer means he knows we're building a case. He's preparing for the possibility of charges. That's progress. After they hung up, Lena forwarded the screenshots to Martinez, then sat staring at her phone like it might bite her. Hey, Ethan said softly. Come on, Mia gets out of school in an hour. Let's go pick her up together. You sure? I don't want to... She's been asking about you all week. Said you promised to paint nails sometime and she's holding you to it. Despite everything, Lena felt herself smile. I did promise that. Then let's go. Get out of your head for a while. So they picked up Mia from school, listening to her excited chatter about the art project she'd made and the boy who'd stolen her eraser at recess. Back at the apartment, Lena spread out nail polish on the coffee table, a rainbow of colors Ethan apparently kept on hand for these occasions, and let Mia paint her nails bright purple with pink polka dots. You're really good at this, Lena said, examining Mia's careful work. I practice on Daddy sometimes, but he always picks boring colors. I like navy blue, Ethan protested from the kitchen where he was making dinner. That's not boring. It's very boring. You should let Lena pick your color next time. I don't think so. Why not? Because then I'll end up with sparkles. Sparkles are nice. Sparkles are not appropriate for a 32-year-old man. That's ageist, Mia declared, and both adults had to laugh. For a few hours, Lena let herself exist in this borrowed life. She ate dinner with Ethan and Mia, helped with the dishes, sat on the couch, while Mia insisted on showing her every single stuffed animal she owned and their elaborate backstories. She felt the knot in her chest loosen slightly, the constant hypervigilance fade to something almost manageable. This is what normal felt like. This warmth, this ease, this sense of belonging. She wanted it so badly it scared her. After Mia went to bed, Lena and Ethan sat in the living room nursing beers, the TV on low in the background. "Thank you for today," Lena said. "For getting me out of my own head." "Any time." Ethan studied his beer bottle. "Can I ask you something?" "Yeah." "What are you going to do when this is over? When Marcus is finally out of your life for good?" Lena considered. She'd been so focused on survival that she hadn't thought much about what came after. "I don't know," she admitted. "Get my own place again, I guess. Something with better security this time. Maybe adopt a dog." "That's it? What else is there?" "I don't know. Dreams, plans, things you want to do that don't involve just surviving?" The question hit harder than it should have. Lena realized she'd stopped dreaming months ago. Everything had narrowed to simply making it through each day. "I used to want to go back to school," she said slowly. "Get my degree in social work, maybe work with women leaving bad situations." "That's a good dream." "Yeah. Feels pretty far away right now, though." "Doesn't have to be." Ethan set his beer down. "You're already doing the hard part. Everything after this is just moving forward. You make it sound simple. It's not, but it's possible." He met her eyes. "And you're not alone in it. Not if you don't want to be." There it was again. That weight, that promise, that thing building between them that neither seemed willing to name directly. "Ethan," Lena started, then stopped. "I don't know if I'm ready for... after everything with Marcus, I don't know if I can..." "I know," he said quietly. "I'm not asking you to be ready. I'm just telling you that when you are, if you are, I'll be here." Lena felt tears prick her eyes. She blinked them back. "You barely know me." "I know enough. You know the broken version, the one who's being stalked and can't keep it together. That's not all you are. It feels like all I am lately." Ethan reached over and took her hand. The gesture so familiar now, it felt natural. "You're also the person who makes my daughter laugh, who drinks terrible coffee without complaining, who apologizes for things that aren't your fault because you're so used to taking responsibility for other people's behavior." His thumb brushed over her knuckles. "You're more than what he did to you, Lena. A lot more." She wanted to believe him, wanted to see herself the way he apparently saw her, capable, worthy, whole. Maybe someday she would. "Thank you," she whispered. They sat like that for a while, hands linked, watching mindless television neither of them was really paying attention to. And for the first time in longer than Lena could remember, the future felt like something other than just more fear. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Both of them tensed. But it was just Claire. "Claire, restraining order approved. Covers me and the kids. Takes effect Monday." Lena, "That's good. Really good." Claire, "How are you holding up?" Lena, "Better than I was this morning." Claire, "Good. Love you." Lena, "Love you too." Lena showed Ethan the message. He nodded, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. "Progress," he said. "Yeah, finally." But even as she said it, Lena couldn't shake the feeling that they were just in the eye of the storm. That Marcus was out there somewhere, planning his next move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She was right. 3 days later, Marcus showed up at Mia's school. Ethan got the call while he was working from home, Lena sitting across from him at the kitchen table with her laptop. The school's number flashed on his screen and Lena watched the color drain from his face as he answered. "Mr. Cole? This is Principal Anderson. There was an incident today at pickup. A man approached your daughter on the playground, said he was a friend of the family. Our teachers intervened before he could get close, but I wanted to let you know immediately." Ethan's hand clenched around the phone so hard Lena heard the case creak. "Is Mia okay?" "She's fine. A little confused, but fine. We've asked the man to leave the premises and we're reviewing our security footage now." "What did he look like?" "Mid-30s, brown hair, leather jacket. He gave his name as Marcus." Lena felt the room tilt. "I'll be there in 10 minutes, Ethan said, his voice deadly calm. Don't let Mia out of your sight." He was already moving toward the door before he hung up. Lena grabbed her jacket and followed. "I'm coming with you." "Lena, he went after your daughter because of me. I'm coming." They made the drive in 8 minutes, Ethan's knuckles white on the steering wheel. Principal Anderson met them at the front office, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. "Mia's in the art room with her teacher," she said. "She's okay, but she was asking why a stranger knew your names." "Where is he now?" Ethan's voice was tight. "Gone, but we have him on camera approaching the fence. I've already called the police." She led them to her office and pulled up the security footage. There, clear as day, was Marcus, standing outside the chain-link fence surrounding the playground, calling to Mia, waving, smiling. Lena felt sick. "That's him," she told Principal Anderson. "That's Marcus Hoffman. There's a restraining order. He's not supposed to be anywhere near me or my family." He claimed to be a family friend. "He's stalking Lena," Ethan said flatly, "and now he's using my daughter to get to her." Principal Anderson's expression hardened. "We take the safety of our students very seriously, Mr. Cole. I've already updated our security protocols. No one gets within 50 feet of this building without authorization." A uniformed officer arrived 20 minutes later to take their statements. Not Martinez, someone older, a sergeant named Williams, who listened with professional detachment as Lena explained the whole situation. "And you're certain the man in the footage is the subject of your restraining order?" Williams asked. "Positive." "Then we'll add this to the case file. Approaching a minor, especially one connected to the protected party, could constitute witness intimidation or stalking by proxy." "Could?" Ethan's voice was sharp. "He showed up at my daughter's school. That's not could. That's illegal. I understand your frustration, Mr. Cole, but we need to establish intent. If he claims he didn't know the child's connection to Miss Hayes—" "He called her by name," Lena interrupted. "He knew exactly who she was." Williams nodded. "That helps. I'll make sure Detective Martinez gets this information immediately." After Williams left, Ethan went to collect Mia from the art room. She ran to him the second she saw him, wrapping her arms around his neck. "Daddy, there was a man who knew my name, but I didn't know him, and Miss Patterson said I did good by not talking to strangers." "You did perfect, sweetheart." Ethan's voice was thick. "So perfect." Mia pulled back, noticing Lena for the first time. "Lena, the man said he knew you too." "Did he say anything else?" Lena asked gently. "Just that he was a friend and wanted to say hi, but Miss Patterson said we don't talk to people through the fence and brought me inside." Mia's face scrunched with confusion. Was he the mean man? Lena and Ethan exchanged a look. "Yeah, baby," Ethan said quietly. "That was the mean man." "Oh," Mia processed this. "He didn't seem mean. He smiled." "Sometimes mean people smile," Lena said. "That's how they trick you. That's not fair." "No, it's not." They drove home in silence, Mia chattering from the back seat about her day, oblivious to the tension radiating from both adults. Once they were back at the apartment and Mia was settled with a snack and a cartoon, Ethan pulled Lena into his bedroom and closed the door. "He crossed the line," Ethan said, his voice shaking with barely controlled rage. "He went after Mia." "I know. She's 5 years old, Lena. 5. And he used her to get to you." "I know. I'm so sorry." "Stop apologizing." Ethan's voice cracked. "This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. But He stopped, running his hands through his hair. "I can't let him hurt my daughter. I can't." "He won't. We'll make sure he can't get near her again." "How?" "The school has security footage, we have witnesses, and he'll still probably get away with it because his lawyer will say he didn't know, didn't mean anything by it, was just trying to talk to you through your family." Ethan's laugh was bitter. "The system doesn't work, Lena. You were right. It's broken, and it's not going to protect either of you." "Then what do we do?" Ethan met her eyes, and Lena saw something dangerous there, something that scared her a little. "I don't know yet," he said quietly, "but I'm done waiting for the police to fix this." Before Lena could respond, her phone rang. "Martinez." She answered, her heart pounding. "Ms. Hayes, I just got the report from the school. Is Mia okay?" "She's fine. Shaken up, but fine." "Good. That's good." Martinez's voice was tight. "I'm putting in for an arrest warrant. What Hoffman did today, approaching a minor connected to a protected party, violating the restraining order, witness intimidation, that's enough. The DA's been on the fence, but this tips it. We're bringing him in. Lena's knees went weak. When? Could be as soon as tomorrow. Depends on the judge. And then what? Then he gets charged. Then he goes to trial. Then, if we're lucky and the evidence holds, he goes to jail. How long? For stalking in violation of a restraining order. Could be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, depending on how the charges stack up. It wasn't enough. Not even close. But it was something. Thank you, Lena said. Really, thank you for believing me. I've believed you from the start, Ms. Hayes. I just needed the evidence to back it up. Martinez paused. Stay safe tonight. Keep your doors locked. And if you see him, anywhere, you call me immediately. Don't engage, don't confront, just call. I will. After she hung up, Lena relayed the conversation to Ethan. Some of the dangerous light faded from his eyes, replaced by cautious hope. They're really going to arrest him? Martinez thinks so. When? Maybe tomorrow. Ethan pulled her into a hug, sudden and fierce. Lena froze for a second, then melted into it, wrapping her arms around his waist and holding on. It's almost over, Ethan murmured into her hair. It's almost over. Lena wanted to believe him, wanted to believe that an arrest warrant would end this nightmare, that Marcus would finally face consequences, that she could stop running and start living again. But some part of her knew better. Men like Marcus didn't give up just because the law said they had to. They didn't stop when arrested, when charged, when ordered to stay away. They stopped when they won, or when they lost so completely there was nothing left to fight for. And Lena had a terrible feeling that before this was over, she was going to have to make Marcus lose in a way that left no room for doubt. She just didn't know how yet. The arrest warrant came through at 7 in the morning. Martinez called while Lena was making breakfast, Ethan already awake and dressed, Mia still sleeping in her room. The detective's voice carried a grim satisfaction that made Lena's hand shake as she gripped the phone. We're picking him up in an hour. Warrants for stalking, harassment, violation of protective orders, and attempted contact with a minor. Judge signed off on everything. What happens now? He gets booked, arraigned, probably makes bail by tonight unless we can convince the judge he's a flight risk. Martinez paused. But the charges are solid, Lena. Even with his fancy lawyer, this is going to stick. After she hung up, Lena stood in the kitchen staring at the eggs she'd been scrambling, watching them congeal in the pan. Ethan gently took the spatula from her hand and turned off the burner. It's happening, she said numbly. Yeah, it is. I thought I'd feel different, relieved, maybe, or vindicated. What do you feel? Lena tried to identify the emotion churning in her gut. Scared, like this is just going to make him angrier. Maybe. But he'll be angrier from a jail cell. Until he makes bail. Even then, there'll be conditions. He won't be able to come near you or Mia or Claire without going straight back to jail. Ethan turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her shoulders. This is progress, Lena. Real progress. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that the system would finally work, that Marcus would face consequences, that this nightmare was ending. But fear had been her companion for so long she didn't know how to let it go. Martinez called back 2 hours later. He's in custody. Picked him up at his apartment without incident. He's being processed now. Did he say anything? Nothing I can repeat, but his lawyer's already filing motions. Bail hearing set for tomorrow morning. What are the chances he gets out? Honestly, pretty good. He's got no prior record, steady employment, community ties. Unless the judge sees him as a danger, he approached a 5-year-old at her school. I know, and I'm going to make sure the prosecutor emphasizes that. But you should prepare yourself for the possibility that he posts bail. Lena closed her eyes. Okay. There'll be conditions, though. Electronic monitoring, probably. Strict orders to stay away from you, your family, Ethan, Mia. Any violation lands him back in jail immediately. No second chances. Okay, Lena said again, because what else was there to say? The rest of the day passed in a strange haze. Ethan took Mia to school, extra security protocols now in place, while Lena sat in his apartment trying to work on her laptop and failing to focus on anything. Her phone stayed silent. No texts from unknown numbers. No calls. No photos. The quiet should have been comforting. Instead, it felt ominous. Claire called around noon, her voice tight with contained emotion. Martinez told me they arrested him. This morning. Good. It's good. Claire paused. How are you? I don't know. Numb, maybe. You're allowed to feel however you feel, you know. There's no right way to react to this. Lena picked at a loose thread on the couch cushion. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. Maybe there isn't another shoe. Maybe this is just over. Maybe. But Lena didn't believe it. Couldn't let herself believe it. Not yet. The bail hearing happened the next morning at 10. Lena didn't attend. Martinez advised against it, said her presence might inflame the situation. But she sat in Ethan's living room, refreshing her phone every 30 seconds, waiting for news. Ethan sat beside her, working on his laptop, but checking on her every few minutes. Mia was at school, the day stretching out long and tense. At 11:15, Martinez called. He posted bail. Lena's stomach dropped. How much? $50,000. He paid it in cash. Of course he did. But the conditions are strict, Lena. House arrest with GPS monitoring. He can go to work and back, that's it. Restraining order's been extended to 1,000 feet from you, your family, and anyone else named in the protective orders. He violates any of this, he goes straight back to jail. When does he get out? He's being released now. Now? Lena's voice went sharp. He's already out? The monitoring ankle bracelet is being fitted as we speak. He won't be able to get within 1,000 feet of you without us knowing immediately. After Martinez hung up, Lena sat frozen on the couch. Marcus was out, free, walking around the city with nothing but an ankle bracelet and some court orders to keep him away from her. Hey, Ethan's voice pulled her back. He can't get near you. The second he tries, he's done. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. The monitoring system is real time. The police get an alert the instant he enters a restricted zone. And what if he doesn't care? What if he's willing to go to jail just to... Lena couldn't finish the sentence. Then he goes to jail and that's it. He's done. No bail, no second chances. Ethan took her hand. I know you're scared, but the walls are closing in on him. Every move he makes now is being watched. Lena wanted to believe it, but she'd learned the hard way that walls didn't stop someone determined enough to break through them. 3 days passed, then 5, then a week. No contact from Marcus. No texts, no calls, no mysterious appearances. According to Martinez, the GPS monitoring showed Marcus going to work and coming home. Nothing else. He was following the rules. Lena should have felt safer. Instead, she felt like she was holding her breath, waiting for something terrible that hadn't happened yet. She went back to her apartment on day 8 just to check on things. Ethan offered to come, but she needed to do this alone. Needed to prove to herself that she could walk into her own home without falling apart. The studio looked exactly as she'd left it, just dustier. Mail piled up inside the door, mostly junk. The chair still wedged under the door handle from the inside, which meant Lou had let her in through the building entrance. Lena walked through the space that had been her sanctuary and her prison, and felt nothing but relief that she didn't have to stay here anymore. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her heart stopped. But when she opened it, it was just a text from her dentist confirming an appointment. She'd forgotten she'd given them this number. She blocked it anyway just to be safe. Back at Ethan's apartment, Lena found him and Mia building what appeared to be an elaborate blanket fort in the living room. Lena! Mia waved from inside the fort. Come see! We made a castle! Lena ducked inside, finding herself in a surprisingly spacious tent constructed from sheets, couch cushions, and an impressive amount of duct tape. This is amazing. Daddy did most of it, but I supervised, Mia said proudly. Supervising is very important. It absolutely is. You can live in here with us if you want. There's room. Lena's throat tightened. That's very sweet of you, Mia. I mean it. You're part of the family now. Mia said this with such absolute certainty that Lena had to look away before the little girl saw her eyes water. Ethan caught her gaze from across the fort, something soft and unguarded in his expression. Yeah, he said quietly. You are. That night, after Mia was in bed, Lena and Ethan sat on the couch, the blanket fort still standing in the middle of the living room because Mia had declared it permanent. I need to tell you something, Lena said. Ethan set down his beer. Okay. I'm going back to my apartment next week. His face fell. Lena, not because I don't feel safe here. Not because I don't... She stopped, choosing her words carefully. You've done so much for me. More than anyone should have to. And I'm grateful. I really am. But I can't keep living in your guest room forever. Why not? Because it's not fair to you or Mia. Because I need to learn how to stand on my own again. Because... She met his eyes. Because if I stay, it won't be because I'm hiding anymore. And I don't know if I'm ready for what that means. Understanding flickered across Ethan's face. Lena, I care about you, she interrupted. A lot. More than I probably should given everything. But I'm still a mess, Ethan. I'm still scared most of the time. I still check over my shoulder and I still can't sleep without checking all the locks twice. Her voice cracked. You deserve someone who has their life together. Not someone who's barely holding it together. You think I have my life together? Ethan laughed, but it wasn't unkind. Lena, I'm a single dad working freelance jobs and eating cereal for dinner half the time. I let my daughter supervise structural engineering projects. I haven't been on a date in 3 years because I'm terrified of letting anyone get close enough to hurt her. He shifted closer. We're all a mess. That's just being human. It's different. It's really not. Ethan, I'm not asking you to stay because I think you need saving, he said quietly. I'm asking you to stay because I like having you here, because Mia likes having you here, because you fit into our life in a way I didn't think anyone would ever fit again. He took her hand. And yeah, you're scared. You're dealing with trauma. You're rebuilding yourself from scratch. But that doesn't make you broken, Lena. It makes you strong. I don't feel strong. Nobody does. But you left. You got the restraining order. You built a case. You survived. That's strength. Lena felt tears slip down her cheeks. What if I can't give you what you need? What if I'm too damaged to... Stop. Ethan wiped her tears with his thumb, the gesture achingly gentle. You're not damaged. You're healing. There's a difference. Is there? Yeah, damaged things stay broken. Healing things get better. He smiled slightly. You're getting better, Lena. I see it every day. What if Marcus... He's going to trial. He's going to jail. And even if he wasn't, I meant what I said before. I'm not going anywhere. Lena searched his face, looking for doubt, for hesitation, for any sign that this was too much for him. She found none. I'm not ready, she whispered, for whatever this is. Not yet. I know, and that's okay. Is it? Yeah. Ethan squeezed her hand. I can wait. However long you need. They sat in silence for a while, hands linked, the weight of everything said and unsaid hanging between them. Can I still stay in the guest room? Lena asked finally. Just for a little while longer? As long as you want. And we don't call this anything yet? We don't call it anything. Okay. Lena leaned her head on his shoulder, feeling some of the tension drain from her body. Okay. 2 weeks later, Marcus violated the restraining order. It happened at 7 in the morning on a Tuesday. Lena was walking to the coffee shop 3 blocks from Ethan's apartment, her new routine, one Marcus couldn't have predicted, when she saw him. He was standing across the street, no longer trying to hide, just watching her with that same expression that used to look like love but now looked like possession. Lena froze. Her phone was already in her hand. She called 911. There's a man violating a restraining order. He's supposed to be on house arrest with GPS monitoring. He's across the street from me right now. The dispatcher took her location and told her to stay on the line, that officers were on the way. Marcus didn't move, didn't approach, just stood there watching her, his face expressionless. Lena's hands shook, but she held his gaze, refused to look away, refused to run. You need to leave, she called across the street. I just wanted to see you. You're violating your bail conditions. I don't care. The police are coming. I know. Marcus took a step into the street. I just need 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes to explain. There's nothing to explain. It's over, Marcus. It's been over. You don't mean that. I really do. He took another step. Cars honked, but he ignored them. Lena's heart hammered, but she didn't back up, didn't show fear, just stood her ground on the sidewalk and waited. You're going to throw away everything we had? Marcus's voice rose. 2 years, Lena. 2 years of our lives. 2 years where you controlled me, where you tracked my phone and isolated me from my friends and made me feel like I was crazy for wanting my own life. I loved you. No. Lena's voice was steady now, cold and clear. You loved owning me. There's a difference. That's not. You put spyware on my phone, you followed me, you stalked my family, you approached a 5-year-old at her school. Each word was a hammer blow. That's not love, Marcus. That's obsession, and I'm done being the object of it. Marcus's face contorted with rage. He started across the street. Sirens cut through the morning air. 2 police cruisers came around the corner, lights flashing. Martinez was in the lead car. Marcus stopped in the middle of the street, caught between Lena and the approaching police, and for a terrible moment Lena thought he might run at her anyway. Might decide that if he was going to jail, he'd make it count. But then Martinez was out of the car, hand on his weapon, voice carrying clear and hard. Marcus Hoffman, you're under arrest for violation of bail conditions and violation of a protective order. Get on the ground, now. Marcus looked at Lena one more time. She saw desperation there and rage, and something that might have been grief. Then he got on his knees. Martinez and another officer had him cuffed in under a minute. As they hauled him to his feet, Marcus called out, "This isn't over, Lena. You know it isn't." Lena watched them put him in the back of the cruiser, watched Martinez read him his rights, watched the car pull away with Marcus inside. And she knew he was wrong. It was over. Right there, in that moment, with her standing on a sidewalk in the November cold and Marcus in handcuffs, it was finally, truly over. Martinez walked over once the cruiser left. "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm okay. That was brave, standing your ground like that." "It didn't feel brave." "It never does." Martinez handed her a card. "Prosecutor's going to want a statement. Call that number when you're ready." "What happens to him now?" "Bail gets revoked. He stays in jail until trial. And with this violation on top of everything else?" Martinez shook his head. "His lawyer's got nothing left to work with. He's going away for a while." After Martinez left, Lena stood on the sidewalk watching traffic pass, feeling like she'd run a marathon. Her phone buzzed. "Ethan. Ethan. Martinez just called. Are you okay?" Lena. "I'm okay. He's in custody." Ethan. "Where are you?" Lena. "Corner of 5th and Madison." Ethan. "Stay there. I'm coming." He arrived 10 minutes later, leaving the car running as he pulled her into a fierce hug. "I'm okay," Lena said into his shoulder. "Really? I'm okay." "I know. I just needed to see you." They stood like that for a while, wrapped around each other on a city sidewalk, while the world moved around them. Finally, Ethan pulled back. "Come on, let's get you home. I never made it to the coffee shop. We'll make coffee at home." "Your coffee's terrible." "I know." He smiled. "But it's ours." The trial happened 3 months later. Lena testified for 45 minutes, walking the jury through every text, every call, every violation. Ethan testified about the park, the grocery store, the school. Claire testified about the phone call, and Marcus describing her house. The tech from the phone shop testified about the spyware. Marcus's lawyer tried to paint Lena as unstable, vindictive, unable to let go of the relationship. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to 18 months in prison, followed by 3 years probation with strict no-contact orders. It wasn't long enough, would never be long enough, but it was something. Walking out of the courthouse, Lena felt lighter than she had in over a year. "It's done," Claire said, linking her arm through Lena's. "It's really done." "Yeah, it is." They went to dinner to celebrate. Lena, Claire, Ethan, and Mia, who'd insisted on coming even though she didn't fully understand what they were celebrating. "Are we having a party?" Mia asked, studying the menu seriously. "Kind of," Ethan said. "What are we celebrating?" "Lena being brave," Claire offered. "Oh, she's always brave." Mia said this like it was obvious. "Can I get the mac and cheese?" Under the table, Ethan found Lena's hand and squeezed. 6 months after that, Lena stood on the same park bench where it had all started. It was a warm May afternoon, the kind where the whole city seemed to exhale after a long winter. Families dotted the park, kids on the playground, couples on blankets in the grass. Lena had her own apartment now. A one-bedroom in a building with actual security, paid for partly with the settlement from a civil suit against Marcus. She'd enrolled in community college, working toward that social work degree she'd talked about. She saw a therapist twice a week and was slowly learning how to be in her own skin again. And she'd been seeing Ethan. Actually seeing him, not just staying in his guest room or pretending they were just friends. It had started slow. Coffee dates that turned into dinner dates that turned into Saturdays at the park with Mia. Long conversations about nothing and everything. Careful questions about what they both wanted, what they could handle, what felt too fast or too much. Lena had expected the fear to never fully leave. Expected to always be waiting for Ethan to turn controlling, possessive, angry. But he never did. He just kept showing up, kept being steady, kept making space for her to heal at her own pace. She was learning that love didn't have to be a cage, that someone caring about you didn't mean losing yourself, that safety and connection could exist in the same space. She was learning what it felt like to choose someone freely, without fear pushing her into their arms. Ethan found her by the fountain, Mia running ahead to the swings. "You okay?" he asked, sliding an arm around her waist. "Yeah, just thinking." About? About how different everything looks now. This park. It used to feel like the place where my life fell apart. Now it just feels like a park. That's good though, right? Yeah, it's good. Lena leaned into him. I was also thinking about what you said that first day, about being my fake boyfriend. What about it? I don't think it's fake anymore. Ethan's smile was slow and genuine. No? No, I think... She turned to face him fully. I think I'm ready. For this, for us, for whatever comes next. You sure? I'm sure. He kissed her then, soft and careful, and Lena felt something settle in her chest that had been restless for so long. From the swings, Mia's voice carried clear across the park. Daddy! Lena! Come push me! They pulled apart, laughing. Come on, Ethan said, taking her hand. We're being summoned. They walked toward the playground together, Mia already pumping her legs to go higher, and Lena realized this was what happy looked like. Not perfect, not without scars or fear or the occasional nightmare, but real and earned and hers. She'd spent so long running from the wrong kind of love that she'd almost forgotten what it felt like to run toward the right kind. Almost. But standing there in the afternoon sunlight, watching Ethan push his daughter on the swings while she laughed with pure joy, Lena remembered. Love wasn't supposed to make you smaller. It was supposed to give you room to grow. It wasn't supposed to cage you. It was supposed to set you free. And for the first time in longer than she could remember, Lena felt free. Not because Marcus was in prison, though that helped. Not because she had better locks or security systems or protective orders, though those helped too. She felt free because she'd learned something crucial in the past year. Something that would stay with her long after Marcus served his sentence and disappeared from her life completely. She'd learned that the most important person she needed to trust wasn't Ethan or Claire or Martinez or anyone else trying to help her. It was herself. She'd learned to trust her instincts when they said something was wrong, to trust her voice when it said no, to trust her strength when everyone else, including that voice in her own head, said she was weak. She'd learned that surviving wasn't the same as living, and that she deserved to do both. And she'd learned that asking for help wasn't weakness, that letting people in wasn't the same as letting them control you, that love could be gentle and fierce and freeing all at once, if you let it. So when Mia called out for her to come push the swing, Lena didn't hesitate. She just went. And that, in the end, was the victory Marcus could never take away. The freedom to just go, to live, to love, to be. Without fear chasing her every step of the way. Mia shrieked with laughter as Lena pushed her higher, Ethan standing close enough that their shoulders touched. And somewhere in the city, Marcus Hoffman sat in a cell that was exactly the size of the cage he'd tried to build around Lena's life. But Lena wasn't thinking about him anymore. She was thinking about Saturday morning pancakes and Mia's school play next week and the social work class she was taking in the fall. She was thinking about the way Ethan looked at her like she was capable of anything. She was thinking about Claire's kids and how excited they'd been when she'd shown up for dinner last week without checking over her shoulder every 5 seconds. She was thinking about the future. And for the first time in over a year, that future felt like something worth running toward instead of away from. Higher, Mia demanded. Push me higher. Any higher and you'll fly away, Lena laughed. That's the point. Ethan caught Lena's eye and grinned, and she grinned back, and the afternoon stretched out golden and warm and full of possibility. This was it. This ordinary moment in an ordinary park on an ordinary Tuesday. This was the happy ending Lena had stopped believing in. Not perfect. Not tied up with a bow. Not the kind where everything was fixed and nothing hurt anymore. Just real, messy, human, hers. And that was more than enough.